Being stuck at a 9-to-5 job already feels like a grind. Things go downhill fast when the guy running the show doesn't act like anything but just your boss. He's just some loud guy who only knows how to yell at people who work for him. Jin Song just started seeing these random pop-up windows everywhere, and honestly it's throwing him off. He could kinda tell something big was about to go down soon. The world got hit by a zombie apocalypse. Work started getting to him. With his boss going off non-stop, he barely has a second to even think about those weird system alerts popping up. The one thing that keeps him from losing it is how his coworker points it out to him. He catches himself thinking about giving up all the time. Now that AI was all over remote work and barely anyone could keep a job, unemployment was going wild. He's pretty much out of backup plans right now. That's when things really start going downhill. Even when it was peak summer, snow starts coming down everywhere. Nobody could figure out what was going on. It was something wild that science just couldn't explain. Things start to get serious. Walks in and catches a coworker literally eating another colleague's body. Jin Song suddenly gets it. He's in deep trouble now. Running into an actual zombie messes him up bad. His legs just quit on him and he drops straight to the ground. Out of nowhere, his phone starts buzzing. A warning went out everywhere. Turns out this rabies virus is making people change, so everyone's told to just stay inside. He couldn't really take it all in at once. He's not buying it for a second. He's convinced there's no way some weird virus like rabies could actually make people turn into real zombies. He figured something way bigger and weirder had to be happening behind the scenes. He scrolls through his feed and sees everyone posting about zombies tearing up the streets in random snow, showing up even though it's supposed to be summer. Right then, it finally makes sense to him. He starts to realize those weird system pop-ups he's been noticing might have something to do with all this chaos happening around him. He looks everywhere online for anything about these status windows, but all he finds is useless stuff. His phone suddenly bugged out, the screen turning to pure static, making everything way more stressful. Suddenly his screen just goes dark, he's completely disconnected. He starts to feel like nothing's really going his way. His head just goes blank. His body locked up as the air around him got way colder than normal, like someone cranked the AC to max out of nowhere. At the moment, the zombies aren't even his main issue. The real struggle is just trying not to freeze out here. He's holding out, hoping someone shows up to save him soon. He wants to boost his odds, so he saves his phone battery, which is still at 83%. He moves through the building, careful with every step, checking things out as he goes. He tries to dodge any zombies around. First thing on his mind is finding a jacket or something warm, plus some food so he doesn't starve. Good thing. He spots some clothes lying around in a drawer. He grabs the drawer and throws it on right away, not wasting any time. Now it's time to talk about food. Pretty soon he grabs a bag, picks up some extra clothes, snags some water, and finds food to get his energy back. He has no clue who left this bag here. He's just glad someone forgot it there. His next move is to track down a solid weapon, something he can actually use to protect himself. He checks out the area for a while, then spots some golf clubs just sitting there like they're meant for him. He's got enough stuff to make it maybe 3 days out here. Now he's just stuck wondering if help will show up before he runs out of food in this brutal cold. Zombies and monsters fill the streets everywhere you look. The blizzard outside is wild, so getting a helicopter out there to pick him up isn't really an option right now. If nobody shows up to save him in a week, he's basically done for. It gets even worse. The temperature keeps dropping way faster than before. Right after that, another system window pops up in front of his face. He checks out the system shop and spots a bunch of items listed there. Winter clothes show up on the list too. He really wants to get his hands on it. He checks his balance, but he's short on system currency. Out of nowhere, someone's footsteps started echoing close by. He ditches his comfy spot right away and steps out of his chill corner. He gets locked in, bracing himself for whatever's coming his way. He gripped the golf club tight in his hands. He takes off, moving fast to track down whatever's out there before it catches up to him. Right before he swings the golf club, turns out it's only his coworker. Since they already know each other, the intro's chill. Jin Song actually works above this guy, so it's not awkward at all. They grab a seat and starts telling his story. Turns out he got stuck in the canteen during break. He heard some nasty noises outside and didn't waste any time. He locked the door tight. When it was finally time to make a run for it, he just went for it, shoving past zombies and fighting his way over to the emergency stairs. Yeah, this was definitely not what wanted to hear. The dude didn't have anything useful to share, and on top of that, he was just looking to mooch off's hard-earned stuff. Straight up says no, pretending he barely has any left. Later on, when the guy goes to grab the water bottle to fill it up, his junior suddenly reaches out and holds his hand. His whole vibe shifts. Suddenly he isn't so chill anymore. Even though it's freezing out, sweat starts showing up on his forehead. It's like he knows hiding something and is just waiting for him to slip up. Nothing goes down, so he's good. Still can't get rid of that uneasy feeling, like something's just not right. He couldn't help but notice how that dude was sweating buckets. Anyone watching could probably tell, yeah, this guy was definitely infected. Just like he guessed, that guy, now a zombie, sneaks up from behind trying to catch Jin Song off guard. He doesn't waste a second, just grabs his water bottle and slams it right into the dude's face. Then sent him flying with a kick so hard he slams right into the wall close by. A second ago, this dude was just chilling, talking like any other guy. Now out of nowhere, he's gone full beast mode, like, what even happened? Survival's at stake, so Jin Song just goes for it, no second guessing. He grips his golf club tight and goes all in, cracking it down on the zombie's head like he's taking a swing at the driving range. He doesn't stop. He handled it the same way most people deal with a cockroach. He made sure it was totally finished, leaving nothing left to deal with. Just got his first kill since everything went down, and even though it's freezing out, he's breaking a sweat. It paid off for him, since his system suddenly kicked in after the kill and started lining up a proper reward. Grabs his first coin and instantly wants to see what else is up for grabs, so he pulls up his status window. He starts scrolling through the store, checking out all the stuff he can get now. He figures out he can actually buy these things with the coins he gets. The wild part, every time he takes out a zombie, he basically scores a coin. Most people would probably say this is alright, but honestly, the guy's just sitting there hating life. He had to put himself on the line just to take out a single zombie, and all he got was one lame coin for it. His mind was all over the place. Jin Song snaps out of his thoughts and quickly looks over. He spotted the bite mark showing clear on the zombie's wrist. He sees it and instantly knows he was right. Things really just went downhill for real. Next up, he's chilling under his blanket, kind of realizing now that you can't just trust someone just because they seem cool on the outside. Things are rough for him right now, but at least he's got his pack of cigarettes to keep him steady. Honestly, when you're running from zombies, stuff like lung cancer just isn't on the radar. Still, can't shake off this constant sense of not knowing what's coming next. He figures it's probably smart to search for supplies, but out of nowhere, this terrifying roar blasts through the air and catches him off guard. Curious and a little on edge, he sneaks over to the window to see what's going on outside. He notices a guy pushing through the crowd, doing whatever he can to get away from all those zombies. The zombies totally swarm him in one part and leave him messed up, barely hanging on. Back when his ex broke up with him, he steps back totally freaked out. He suddenly gets it, he's totally stuck now. Time drags on and still stuck inside, nowhere to go. By day 3 he's out of ideas, his phone's hanging on with just 3% battery. On top of that, all he's got left are 4 chocolate bars, literally his last shot at getting by. Watching from his window, picked up on something important. No matter how hard people try to get away from the zombies, they just can't catch a break. Every time the zombies track them down and it's game over. Even with the odds stacked against him, he knows he's got to get moving if he doesn't want to starve. He grabs his bag and gets ready to go. Starts taking down the barricades, realizing that sticking around would just mess things up for him even more. At this point, his best chance is to find anyone else still alive in the building. He's betting that teaming up might be what keeps him going. Jin Sung decides to focus on checking out the 6th floor. He started thinking about whether actually blocked off the entrance like he said he would. Out of nowhere, the guy. He catches something during a meeting. He walks over to the window. He's fine until he glances out the window. The cold just wouldn't let up, and everything around him was pitch black. He spots some lights up ahead. Someone else probably messed with the generator and got the lights back on. He knows for sure now someone else has to be alive in the building. He could tell the lights were about to cut out any second. Bolts forward, he headed downstairs fast, realizing if he wanted to make it out, he had to track down the other person before it was too late. While heading down, tries to figure out where the survivor could be hiding. He figures the person's probably tucked away in either the management office or security room. Both spots are right there on the 1st floor, so moving between them isn't going to be a hassle. Down on the lower floors, it gets even colder. He decided to play it safe instead of doing what felt easiest for him. He slips off his shoes so he won't make a sound. When he gets to the 6th floor, he gets ready to see if was telling the truth. He leans in and peeks through the doorway. Turns out our guy checks out the spot and sees the entrance is actually blocked, so the dude earlier was telling the truth. He can't help but smile, hoping this means there are still people hanging in there, and the place hasn't been busted into yet. Right now, Jin Song decides it's time to dip from the 6th floor and get back to what matters, making his way down to the 1st floor. He pulled up to check things out for himself. Turns out the zombies haven't made it to the higher floors yet, so those spots are still safe. But the 1st floor, he knows that place is risky, with those creepy creatures probably hiding somewhere nearby. He grabs the door handle and cracks it open just enough to sneak a look inside. He was just hoping, almost desperate, that nothing would show up. Things aren't looking good, blood's all over the place. Like he figured, zombies are stumbling everywhere, looking totally wild and out of control. With a whole pack of them closing in, things are getting seriously risky for him. He's basically trapped inside, no way he's getting past a crowd that big. The one thing working for him is the zombies down below haven't noticed anything going on upstairs, so they're all just packed on the first floor. Things aren't looking good, and starting to worry that the door keeping them safe might not last much longer. He sees this as his one shot to dip, so he moves quietly, heading straight for the management office. He pulled up at the office just a few seconds after, runs into something he really didn't want to see. Right in front of him, there's the body of a dude he used to see every morning, the kind of guy who always said hey and seemed chill. The cold out here was just brutal and it got him. He figured it was best to leave the guy be and let him rest now. Jin closes his eyes and gives a quick nod. He took a moment for his friend who was gone, hoping everyone would drop an F in the chat for his guy. Jin Song kept pushing forward, trying to get to the security room. He's really hoping to spot someone hiding out, but he knows he can't just rush in since the survivor might have set some traps. Just like how he handled the barricades before, his main goal now is to show everyone he's not some brainless zombie. He needs them to see he's still got his own mind. He looked away and focused on the weirdos hanging out in the background, notices that even though these zombies can't see anything, they're quick to react to every little noise around them. He knocks on the door just chill, letting the other person know it's not some random threat, just a regular guy. Now it's time for the big jump. This is where things get real. Jin Song inches his hand toward the door handle, moving slow like he's trying not to get caught. The second he pushes the door open, something jumps out and goes straight for him. It's not some zombie, just a random guy swinging a stick. Good thing he holds it down with his own weapon, the legendary Infinity Golf Club, and keeps himself safe. The noise from their fight had on edge since it could easily catch the zombies' attention. Over on the side, the dude with glasses just freezes when he spots what's happening. The zombies still haven't noticed what's going on yet. The survivor grabs him fast and pulls him inside, making sure to slam the door right after. This fight was about to get wild. On one side there's a guy swinging a golf club, on the other someone's ready with a plain wooden stick. They check each other out and see they're both human, but neither one is willing to put their weapon down. Tells them what's up, letting them know he heard the backup generator kick in and came over to see if anyone made it out. He even pulls out his assistant manager badge to prove it. He's not just some random dude. He's made it through a lot himself, but deep down he can't help but worry this guy might end up just like. Turns out the dude with the glasses is Sung, one of the other assistant managers on the team. The way he's all bundled up makes Jin-sung uneasy, like something weird is definitely going on. He's thinking Sung might be hiding bite marks or something, but honestly the dude's not even sweating. Looks like he's just bundling up because it's cold out. He looks around and spots the dude's backpack right away. Now his focus moves over to the wooden stick. Jin-sang, who'd been doubting everything, suddenly gets it. He realizes that infected people are always starving, so if this dude is saving his food, he must be totally fine. Holds out his hand and the other guy instantly tenses up, raising his weapon and watching closely. He starts to get the vibe that Sung might actually think he's about to steal his bag, but honestly that's the last thing he wants right now. Jin-song, wanting to fix things without making it worse, just slides his golf club back where it belongs and gives in, showing he's not there to cause any more drama. That's how he shows everyone he didn't do anything wrong. While he's at it, he keeps running through other options in his head. He pulls out a cigarette and hands one to the other manager, kind of as a peace offering. He reached into his pocket. He grabs his pack and hands one over to the guy. He was back at it, clearly into telling lies again. At first, Glasses guy plays it safe. After a moment, he finally drops his weapon. He took a second to think it over, then made his move. He nods and casually checks if it's cool to light up a smoke. Next up, the two of them are just chilling close together. Even with a ton of zombies outside ready to go wild, they're just posted up inside, sharing some smokes and catching a break. Laughs it off, saying all he's had today is a chocolate bar and a smoke. The other guy starts digging through his bag. That's when Jin Xiong realizes he must grab some stuff from the lounge earlier. The guy grabs a noodle cake and snaps it in half. He told his new buddy to chill and take his time eating, making sure to actually chew before swallowing. He grabs the food and just starts chowing down, all smiles. While eating, he kicks off a chat and keeps things rolling. Sung wanted to know how the team's manager managed to score some food. Turns out, the guy just grabbed whatever he could find and left the rest of the fridge untouched. They both cracked up at something, barely able to hold it together. Not long after, both of them are out there shivering from the cold, listening to the development manager break down what's going on upstairs. Things were rough over there. Thinking back, he remembered how stuck he was with his coworker, and they had no choice but to ration their food between them. His friend kept pushing to get moving, but he just wanted to hang back and hope someone would come help them out. Sung's friend couldn't sit still and rushed ahead, which got him snatched up by the zombies. Now Sung was left solo, having to figure things out on his own. After hearing all that, he figures out there's actually a bunch of zombies upstairs, not just one or two. But according to what the guy said, it's only 4 up there, so it's not as bad as he first thought. In the end, he bylaid on 2 because he was scared of getting overpowered. He moved real slow, trying to slip away without drawing attention, and set up a few distractions to keep the zombies off his trail. Can't help but be impressed when he hears this guy made it out past 4 zombies without a scratch. Next, he finds out Sung was actually the one who flipped the switch on the emergency generator. The guys grabbed an extension cord so they could keep their devices charged up. Now he's starting to wonder if any of their gadgets even mean anything these days. Sung couldn't believe it when he found out the guy hadn't been online at all. He tries to pull up a signal but no luck at all. Meanwhile, the manager from the team just points out that satellite internet is running smooth. He actually brings up Elon Musk's, pointing out that's why nobody's stressing about internet problems, even after everything went down. Points out that even though some servers are down, the internet's still running well enough for them to use it. Everything's coming at him fast, and Sung honestly had no clue stuff like this could even happen. Still, staying true to his laid-back vibe, he hands over his charger to Jin Sung since his phone's already good to go. Not long after that, logs into the satellite network and sees everything running smooth, no issues at all. Sung really appreciates his friend for showing him the ropes, but he's too chill to brag or act like he did anything special. Their hopeful moment gets cut short. They started freaking out as soon as the lights went off. The backup generator's toast too, there's no way that thing's coming back. Wonders what this guy's planning to do now. He just says he's not leaving anytime soon and plans to stick around. Looking at the situation, he picks up pretty quick that Sung just wants him out. Honestly, Sung's just looking out for himself, trying to keep things chill and stay safe. With someone else using up his stuff, he's just got extra weight to carry. Scott has doubts too, thinking teaming up won't really work out since their heads just aren't in the same place. One of the guys is ready to dip, but the other dude just wants to chill somewhere safe. So our boy steps up first, keeps things smooth between them, and heads out. He gets ready to leave. Right before he heads out, his friend steps up and hands him one last gift for the trip. He passes him a flashlight and an extra battery, since he's got more than enough for himself to use. This is a big win for Jin Song. He stuffs them in his bag, thinking they'll come in clutch for him later. In return, the guy just hands over a couple of cigarettes with a grin, like he's sharing a win with a friend. They go their separate ways, still cool with each other. They wished each other luck before heading out. He couldn't stop thinking about the next time they'd see each other. Jin Song steps out the door and heads outside. He heads back to the spot where those creepy-looking monsters are lurking. He knows he needs to move fast before the lights cut out completely. He noticed the door was wide open. He slips past the zombies, moving quiet and careful. He eases the door closed behind him, finally out of the mess. Now he stands there thinking about what to do next. He thought about heading down to the basement since his car was parked there. If he made it, that could be his ticket out before things got any worse. He keeps thinking about whether now's actually a good time to dip out of the building. Sure, he knows he can't stay locked in here forever, but heading out too early could be just as risky for him. Heads upstairs, locked in on his next move. He's gotta dig up some info from the company. He started thinking about how he could break out. Just then all the lights cut out and everything goes totally dark. Now he has to move even slower and watch out for anything around him. He stays calm and digs through his stuff, trying to grab his flashlight. Pops it open without thinking twice. He moved upstairs, taking his time since he knew the zombies might have switched spots while he was gone. He moves slowly, keeping it chill, and ends up reaching the 6th floor without any problems. Right then he starts to think there might actually be a zombie around, even though it's risky. He's already gone too far to even think about turning back now. He took a deep breath and locked in. He grabs his golf club ready to go and steps forward. One zombie, all messed up and still moving, starts dragging itself up the stairs toward him. He's holding it down and staying cool, not letting anything throw him off. He's just hanging out, not expecting anything wild, when out of nowhere, he spots the Queen of Chopped Uglies. He sits there, barely able to keep still, clearly on edge. He ducks just in time as this zombie suddenly powers up and launches herself at him like she's got superpowers. The guy walks up, looking kind of awkward, then just swings his golf club and nails her right in the head. She was just left stuck there, totally wiped out, like when you mash a bug against the wall and it doesn't move. That still isn't enough to take her out. It keeps using the same move over and over, just spamming attacks non-stop. He ended up smacking her right in the face with his massive attack. This time the swing sent her flying down the stairs. She landed hard and blood started to pool around her. Right now, the guy's basically hoping she just stays down and doesn't try to stand up again. Somehow this stubborn zombie still manages to crawl around. His golf club is already messed up from swinging at the zombie, but he goes for one last hit, hoping this time he finally finishes it off. He's finally done, no more stress. The system drops him another coin, so now he doesn't have to spend any of his own cash. This let him grab something from the shop. He's totally out of breath, barely holding it together. and his favorite golf clubs just wrecked beyond repair. Everyone could chill now because the slayer of zombie bitches totally won everyone over. Back to him, he's clearly annoyed but decides to hold on to the weapon, thinking he might need it for something else down the line. Right now, he's all about checking out the zombie. He just stood there trying to figure out how it even showed up in the first place. Next up, he tries the rooftop door, but it's totally locked. So yeah, the zombie definitely didn't come from up here. It had to show up from somewhere else in the building. Even the 7th floor wasn't off limits when it came to danger. He moved through the place without making a sound, keeping it. He lets out a big breath, finally able to chill. Looks like the 7th floor's all good. He takes a quick breather and downs his water in one go. He remembered how the zombie just flew at him. No hesitation, like it was built for speed. Now it moved quicker than it ever did as a human, almost like it turned into some wild beast. Outside, he spots 2 zombies hanging around. That's a problem because if they move as fast as the last one he fought, there's no way he's making it out if both come at him at once. Knows how to handle things, he always finds a way to split up his opponents so he can deal with each one solo. Out of nowhere, he grabs his phone, hoping someone else posted an update about the zombies. He's thinking maybe there's been a big change or something. He scrolls until he finds this forum called the Survivors Gallery. All over social media, people from all kinds of places are posting about how brutal the cold is. Everyone's just venting about how rough it's been for them lately. He wasn't talking about some wild new zombie secret or anything like that. Not really happy with how things turned out, checks out what he's figured out so far. He's noticed for sure that these zombies are basically blind to everything except noise. They only really react when they hear something. You can't actually take them out unless you smash their heads for real. Plus, everyone knows that getting bit means you're turning into a zombie next. Stuff like this isn't news, everybody's already heard it a million times. Checks the forum again, but there's still nothing new. He's starting to think the government's gone down, so nobody's showing up to save them. The world's pretty much fallen apart now, and the ones left are just trying to get by on their own. It's day 5 and things are getting rough. The cold's really started to hit hard now, way worse than before, and even he can't handle it anymore. He's in danger of catching something, and in a place like this, getting sick pretty much means it's game over. He realizes standing stiff isn't working out. He gets ready by doing some quick jumping jacks to loosen up. After working out, his stomach started rumbling like crazy. He usually just grabs half a piece of chocolate and calls it a day, but right now, things are rough, so he's gotta eat more just to keep going. After finishing his snack, he just lays back and crashes for a quick nap. He slipped his shoes off again, wanting to keep things light and easy while moving around. His shoes are making way too much noise, so there's really no point in dragging them around. He's gotta find something to eat ASAP if he wants to make it through this. He remembers what manager Sung said and thinks there's probably still some food left in the lounge. He thinks it's probably stashed in the bag that belonged to the coworker who didn't make it out. That's not exactly great news, especially after seeing how things ended for that guy. Right off the bat, he's got to take on 4 zombies by himself, and that's definitely got him on edge. There's no way he can just grab the bag and dip without anyone noticing. Honestly, the only move here is to take them down one at a time and make sure he gets the win. Starts following his targets and spots a zombie hanging out in the first room. There was someone else in room 2. He found himself chilling in the business team room for the 3rd time. The weird thing was, couldn't spot the last zombie anywhere. He remembered not seeing any bodies on his way out, so he knew the last one had to be hiding out somewhere close. With all these guys coming at him, he really needs some solid gear to handle business. He peeked into one of the rooms to see what was going on. Jinsong checks things out, sees the coast is clear, and quietly slips inside. He looked around the room and noticed there were still plenty of supplies left. No food, but at least he wasn't totally out of options. Outside, he can already pick up the sound of a zombie shuffling around. He holds the flashlight in his mouth, ready to keep his hands free. He picks up a cup, ready to pull off the perfect distraction. He chucks it way out, sending it flying far from where he's standing. Calls out that he's starting the hunt, and as soon as the cup drops to the floor, the zombie takes off, moving way faster than anyone would expect, zeroing in on whatever made that noise. But it totally missed that our guy was just chilling, ready to go all out and smash this opportunity. The zombie looks over to the left, and you can tell it suddenly realizes it's done for. Slams the golf club straight into its face, not holding back at all. It took it out right away. The noise grabs the other zombie's attention. He moves fast and slams the door before they can get in. He took out his first target, no problem. Looks way too pumped right now, like he just hit a new high score or something. He zones out and totally blanks on the zombie that's chilling in the same room. Out of nowhere, the infected grabs his foot, making it clear it's still very much alive. Out of nowhere, our hero spins around, kind of freaked out by what just happened behind him. He looked down and saw a zombie grabbing onto his leg, making these wild animal noises. The creature sees its chance and suddenly jumps forward, jaws open and ready to bite. Song just stands there totally stuck, not moving at all. He's basically frozen, like his brain just glitched out. The flashlight drops out of his mouth. He drops straight to the ground, acting on pure instinct. He stomps on the zombie's head, holding it down so it can't move, while nasty drool keeps spilling onto the floor. It reaches out for him again, but he steps back quick, looking pretty annoyed now. He doesn't even hesitate, just grabs his golf club and smashes it down on the zombie's head, not holding back at all. He finished it off for good, once everything calmed down. He stands frozen next to the blood on the ground, hands gripping his head, trying to process everything that just went down. He barely has time to chill when out of nowhere, a hand smacks the window right by his head, yanking him straight back to what's happening. He whips around, eyes wide, and spots a crowd of zombies fighting to get in. Right then it really sinks in, there's still a ton of these things out there. He didn't care at all about staying clean. He shoves the grimy flashlight between his teeth again, locked in and ready to wrap this up quick before things get out of hand. He steps into the next room and just goes for it, swinging his golf club straight through the window. The two zombies inside just freeze for a second, totally not expecting that. The guy grabs this tiny metal thing and just chucks it across the room. Both zombies snap their heads around. One takes off after it with zero hesitation, but the other just stays put, not moving an inch. He couldn't figure out what was going on. Song points his flashlight right at the guy who's still standing there like a statue, and after that things just take off. At the same time, the zombie with the backpack just starts running all over the place, not even caring where he's going. He even jumped over the desk to go after it, only to realize it was just a spoon. He spins back and keeps going. He fuses up and sprints as fast as he can. He comes out of nowhere and drop kicks the guy right in the back, sending him face first to the ground. He doesn't wait around. He just raises his golf club and brings it down hard, sending the creature packing instantly. His weapon breaks apart completely after that last hit, and the system catches it right away. He picked up 4 more coins. He felt kind of bummed after losing his weapon. He drops down next to the zombie, checking its pockets for anything useful. Song reaches behind and loosens the strap. He tosses it onto his shoulders and feels pretty good, knowing it's actually got some weight to it. That relief doesn't last long for him, because he suddenly gets hit with the fact that, without a weapon, he's basically stuck and helpless. He's about to dip out fast, but right before he bounces, he catches himself. After putting in all that work to get here, it just makes sense to actually look around. He remembers Sung saying the assistant manager hid in the break room and probably didn't even check the whole office. So he starts checking every desk, one at a time, and his mood picks up when he finds something. He had some supplements stacked up next to his power bank. He was rolling with that bit of good luck, hoping it wouldn't run out anytime soon. He keeps going and heads over to see what's up in the Team 2 office. Right then, a loud thump comes from behind him. He pauses, thinking it might be another zombie, but then it hits him. He's got nothing to fight with now. He decides to dip out fast, knowing it's smarter to stay safe now and come back ready next time. He sneaks into the closest room and ducks down behind a desk, trying not to make a sound. He kept his backpack tight against his chest. Once his breathing slowed down, things started to chill out. He thinks to himself how weird it is that being stuck in such a stressful office actually feels kind of safe. Reality kicked back in, so he opened up his backpack to check out what kind of loot he'd scored. Once he dumped everything out, he writes down what he needs: 3 bags of snacks, ramen, cookies, and of course a can of Coke, because every gamer knows you can't grind without it. He just loses it and starts laughing way harder than anyone expects. He shuts his eyes, finally chill, convinced that with all this stuff and some clean water, he could totally survive a month. His whole body starts to shake. The cold comes back hard once the adrenaline wears off, and his socks, completely soaked in blood, just make everything worse. He heads over to clean himself up, tossing his socks aside to dry while he gets himself together. He rinses the blood off his feet, irritated by how freezing the water feels. Kind of wild how something so normal still bugs him, even with everything else going down. He stops cold when he spots some marks on his leg. His face went pale right away, like he just saw something wild. He remembers when the zombie at the beginning grabbed his leg, but now he's relieved because it's clear there aren't any bite marks, so he's not about to turn into one of them. He's still not sure what to think, so he keeps scrolling and spots. Someone posted online that the guy was totally fine just a few days after he got scratched. He perks up right away and just chills back against the... He finally reached the basin and let out a quiet breath, glad to be done. His problems definitely aren't done yet, because now that he's washed his feet, if he doesn't get his hands warmed up soon, he's definitely catching frostbite. He pulls up the shop menu, thinking back on what happened. Last time he checked, there were still some winter clothes up for grabs. He glances at all the flashy gear and just gets annoyed, since selling every single thing honestly seems pointless to him. Stuff like selling things separately for 3 coins made 0 sense to him. He couldn't get over how gloves and shoes were priced the same as a whole outfit. He's freezing and doesn't want to wait anymore, so he goes for the boots before anything else. Things just pop up in front of him, looking exactly like something straight out of a video game. He grabs them, not really expecting it, and just stands there for a second, a little thrown off. He slides the shoes on to see how they fit, and right away it's like they were made for him. No weird tight spots, nothing loose, just a perfect fit. He figures out pretty fast that just wearing boots isn't cutting it against the cold. He keeps scrolling through the shop, hoping to find something else that catches his eye. He's just chilling, scrolling through what feels like a never-ending feed of stuff, not really expecting anything. Then out of nowhere his phone buzzes with an alert. Right away he gets this feeling, maybe this is finally the thing he's been looking for. He grabs a heat pack for just 1 coin and slips it into his pocket. He started moving his feet around, trying to get the blood flowing and warm them back up. He thinks it's wild that just 1 coin gets him a single heat pack. It feels overpriced to him. He's still chilling in the warmth, kinda letting it calm him down and help him reset. He honestly believes he'll find a way out of this. 7 days in, he finds out the building's water just got shut off for good. He checks out his emergency water bottles real quick, making sure he's still stocked up. He checks and sees he's got about 2 liters left, so that should keep him going for maybe 3 or 4 more days. He drops himself onto the counter by the window, thinking about how stuff just keeps going downhill. Right when he finally spots even a tiny bit of hope, he pulls out his phone and starts scrolling, hoping to find any fresh updates about the zombies. He scrolls through his feed and spots a post from some guy saying he's about to test his luck and hit up the supermarket. Someone online starts wondering if he's actually dating someone. He says he already dipped out and jokes he'll post again if he survives, so the anonymous user throws him some support in the comments. After that, he puts his phone down and just sits there, noticing how the posts keep dropping every day. It kinda gets to him. There's basically no one left alive now. He heads over to the window trying to see if he's right and barely sees anyone out there. Still, he keeps thinking there have to be people hiding somewhere, staying out of sight. On day 8, he grabs his phone and scrolls through the comments. Someone random online had dropped a question, basically wondering if the adventurer ever made it back from the supermarket. But after waiting around all day, there's still nothing. No one replies to his post. The anonymous dude just figures the adventurer didn't make it and silently pays his respects. Song gets pretty mad about it, but at least he's glad he's still got some food and water stashed away. He just needs to get out of the building without getting caught. He knows he won't survive out there solo, so he's got to track down other people and team up if he wants a shot. Right then he runs into a new problem. He can't really move around the building to find stuff or take on zombies without a solid weapon. Now he's stuck with just one flimsy golf club, and honestly, it's barely holding up. It'll probably snap after taking out maybe 1 or 2 more zombies. He pulls up the status screen and just stares at the zombie skull-crushing hammer, realizing it costs 5 coins he doesn't have. He only had 2 left, so he closed the screen and started thinking the hammer looked awesome, but it just cost way too much. For that kind of money, he could grab some new winter gear and a bunch of heat packs instead. Now he heads up to the 4th floor, scanning every corner for anything that might come in handy. He suddenly spots something that catches him off guard. He just stops, not really sure what's going on. Blood is splattered everywhere and the place is dead silent. There's literally no one around. He notices that the bloodstains on the ground totally reek, like that nasty zombie smell you just can't ignore. It's weird because he doesn't spot any zombie bodies anywhere. He just keeps thinking about what could have gone down there. He goes to open the executive room, but the door won't budge. It's locked. Song thinks there might be someone on the other side, so he leans in, puts his ear up to the door, and just listens, not moving a muscle. He sat there not hearing a single thing. He swings his golf club and just cracks the handle. He steps up and nails a heel kick, smashing the door wide open like it's nothing. He walks in expecting to find people, but all he sees is a pile of bodies, at least 10 zombies just thrown on top of each other. He looks at the mess in front of him and starts wondering what kind of monster could have pulled this off. He started wondering if anyone at his company ever had strength like this before. He gets what's going on and decides his next move. He's gonna try to get that person on his side. He spent a good chunk of time checking every office, but there was literally nothing left. It hit him that someone had already cleared out the whole spot. He realizes right away that someone must grabbed everything way before he got here. The way everything's cleaned out makes him think only someone super obsessed could pull it off, and for a second, he wonders if maybe there's more than one person involved. He can't shake the thought that whoever did this might still be hiding somewhere in the building. Right then, he spots a crumpled note stuffed into the water dispenser. Once inside, the writer leaves a message hyping him up for making it to the 4th floor, but also admits to grabbing all the supplies first. The writer tells him straight up not to bother searching for anything. He also drops a heads up about the executive director's room, saying that's where all the bodies ended up. Some skirts were left in one of the cabinets for whoever might need them. At the end, there's a big warning telling everyone to stay far away from the 5th floor. The writer talks about his plan to dip out to an island on the west coast, hoping things will chill out there. He even drops the date and time before signing off. That's when it hit him. If he'd just shown up 1 day sooner, he could have actually seen the legend in real life. Turns out the writer is actually from accounting. The guy's got this hope that one day he'll get to meet the reader he's been thinking about. As soon as Song saw that, it all clicked. He remembered that coworker, the one he always joked around with, calling him some kind of special agent. Now it all added up. That's how he managed to take down all those zombies solo. As Song folds up the paper, something catches his eye on the back, another message. Turns out, dropped a note saying he left a gift in the drawer for his wife. Song gets hyped just thinking about finding some secret treasure. He bolts straight for the drawer, not wasting a second. He opened the cabinet and just found 2 sad packets of instant coffee sitting there. Right then, he figures out totally got him with a wild prank. It's the 10th day and Song is just chilling by the window, snacking on a pie. He keeps looking over the note, reading it again while he hangs out. He keeps replaying this weird warning about the 5th floor in his head. Song remembered that there shouldn't really be many zombies on that floor, since that's where the CEO's office used to be. He just lets it slide and tells himself probably had his reasons. He starts thinking about how empty everything is outside and realizes he hasn't seen another person in a long time. Each day that went by, it felt less and less likely he'd run into someone on his side. He thinks about checking out the other floors since nobody turned up yesterday. He stands there just stuck, running through what he should do next. Out of nowhere, a bright light hits him right in the face. Song catches on fast. It's clear someone outside the building is trying to get his attention. He spots the other guy pointing at something, and honestly, he gets a real boost, just knowing there might be more people out there alive. Song notices something that grabs his attention, so he leans in for a better look. He sees a guy holding up a piece of paper and it clicks. Dude's definitely trying to tell him something. He suddenly gets an idea and starts searching through his pockets. He grabbed his, opened the camera and zoomed in. He acts fast and pulls it off. He checks the message and finds out there are other people still alive in his building. They want to team up with him. He's pumped just thinking there might be more people out there, but right now, he zeroes in on everyone up on the 6th floor. He grabs his last golf club and decides to check out the place. A bit later, he makes it to the 6th floor and gets thrown off when he notices the entrance is wide open. He starts to think maybe the others cleared everything out before he got there. He looks around and shouts, hoping someone else is out there. He keeps it chill, trying to sound friendly, but the place stays quiet. Nobody answers back. He heads further in, taking slow steps as the place gets darker. He looks around and notices the whole place is trashed, like someone was going wild trying to find something important. The place instantly puts him on edge, like something's just off. He can't help but think about who else might have stepped in here before. Out of nowhere, a zombie tries to catch him slipping. Song sees trouble coming right at the last moment. He's quick on his feet, dodging back and getting his weapon out, ready for whatever's next. The zombie doesn't let up and shoves him to the ground, trying to keep him pinned. Nasty drool slides down his face, covering him as the thing leans in close. He really didn't want to go down, so he just went for it and slammed a kick right to the thing's stomach. He shoved the zombie away just enough so he could stand up again. Song sees his moment and just charges in, landing. He lands a heavy hit, knocking the zombie flat on the ground. The fight keeps going, and our guy isn't backing down just yet. Right away, our hero grabs the whole cabinet with everything he's got. He uses all his strength and smashes the zombie's head, taking it out for good. The system drops a 1-coin reward, but to him, that sound hits different now. It's less of a win and more like a reminder of everything he's lost. He scans the place, pretty sure some people should still be around. Now he's starting to think maybe that guy from across the building just made it up. Right then, he catches the sound of something clicking close by. That makes him turn around quick, and now he's starting to think maybe it was actually true. He tries to get the person inside to answer, letting them know he's not looking for trouble, but the silence just drags on. He keeps pushing, saying he's just here to find some teammates. Meanwhile, the person inside won't loosen their grip on the door handle, like they're not letting anyone in no matter what. The guy keeps the convo going, casually saying he works in sales right there in the building. He waits, but nobody answers, so he grabs his club, gets set, and gets ready to bust the door down. Before he gets the chance, someone from inside calls out asking if he's manager Song. Right then, the door swings open. He gets caught totally off guard when he realizes it's one of the employees. Looks like he's just seen his first W after a rough week, finally spotting someone he knows. After a while, they chill indoors and start going over everything that's gone down. Tells them about last night, how some random guy showed up at her door asking to come in. She could tell something wasn't right, so she didn't open up. Once the dude figured out she was by herself, he tried to push his way in. She dipped out to the break room to lay low for a bit. It didn't even take an hour before the guy outside got swarmed by zombies. They tore him up, and just like that, he turned into one of them. Right then, it hits him. The zombie he just finished off was most likely that same guy from earlier. Switching gears, he wants to know if she's got any weapons on her. She holds up a wooden spear for him to see. Right away, he notices it looks a lot like the weapon Sung uses. He wonders if she actually made it out of a mop. She nods, letting him know it's true, and tells him she grabbed a box cutter and sharpened it up. Now it actually works way better than anyone would expect. He spots some dried blood on the tip and starts thinking maybe she already took out a zombie, but then it hits him how dangerous that would have been. It's way tougher for someone like her to deal with that kind of threat. Is busy going off about her spear, but the main guy just watches her, looking all focused. He's pretty much locked into the idea that girls have it way tougher out here. Zombies are bad, sure, but he gets that the real threat is also people who aren't paying attention to what's going on around them. There's nothing left for him here, so he just heads out. The girl starts freaking out and grabs his hand, holding on tight. She pauses for a second, not sure if he's actually about to leave, but he just says sorry and lets her know he really has to go. Her panic kept getting worse, and she let him know straight up that she didn't think she could make it on her own. He slips his hand away and says sorry again, but she tightens her hand into a fist and casually mentions she used to do fencing when she was younger. He can't really figure out what's going on, but she keeps saying it's for real. She picks up the spear, dried blood still sticking to it, and doesn't hesitate to let everyone know she's the one who wiped out the zombies on the 6th floor. She steps right up to him, locking eyes, and lets him know that ditching her is something he's seriously going to wish he hadn't done. He just stood there, totally caught off guard, not even able to get a word out while she rushed to do her thing. She starts telling everyone how she scored a silver medal at the national festival. Hearing that, something just clicks inside him. He reaches out and gives her a handshake, teaming up with her right then. He doesn't hesitate and just gives her the backpack loaded with everything he grabbed before. They start checking every corner of the room, not wasting any time. He tells her to grab extra batteries just in case. She looks a bit lost, wondering if the power's already back on. He starts talking about just laying it out easy. As soon as she hears it, she almost lights up, like someone just handed her her favorite snack. He wants to know how many zombies she's actually taken down. She lets him know, holding her head high, that there were 8 in total, not even counting the one he just took down. Right after that, she gets all hyped because she found the batteries. Meanwhile, he's just frozen, trying to process how she took out 8 zombies solo. After they get all their stuff together, she's ready to leave and checks if it's time to go, but he tells her to wait a sec. He squints, spotting some weird marks scratched into the door. He spots them and wants to know what they are. Lets them know that the dude from before wouldn't quit messing with the door, but she couldn't really tell what kind of tool he had in his hand. He took another look around, checking things out more closely. He notices something shiny peeking out from under a pile of papers. He grabs it, totally hyped, and the nerdy girl just tells him it's a measuring caliper, like it's no big deal. He gets hyped when he finds a solid metal tool that isn't gonna break like those weak golf clubs. Right away, he checks out how heavy it feels in his hands, already thinking this one might actually hold up. He thinks the weapon's a bit too small to actually use, but his coworker just grins, totally chill, like she's already got it all figured out. Picked up the caliper and started messing around, trying to turn it into something useful. She fixed the heavy metal tool to the end of her go-to weapon, making sure it was on there tight. Now one side had a sharp edge ready to go, and the other side was packing the weight of the caliper. This thing's got 2 sides and both hit hard. One end pokes like a spear, the other smacks like a clamp. Honestly, it's kind of the ultimate tool. Ah felt pretty proud of what she came up with. She was already proving that tagging her in was definitely the right move for Song Jin Song. Turns out having more folks around might not just mean extra drama after all. Working with a squad can really open up some crazy opportunities. After that, they went through their gear and checked what they had. Turns out their food stash is about the same, so they're set for now and don't need to stress about running out anytime soon. Ah had a frying pan sitting with his things. She walked into the office carrying this thing herself, right when the world started falling apart. She needed to take it back to the store where she bought it since the color wasn't right. They could use this thing to melt snow and get some water. She looked away, kind of awkward. Turns out she'd been using that pan for something else. The handle felt kind of slippery, which was a little weird. It made you wonder what was up with that. Switching things up, she wondered how even new she was in the break room. It was almost like he was already aware someone was hanging out there before Ah even showed up. He admitted he picked up the info while watching from the building across the street. Whoever it was, they flashed a light to get his attention and handed over a note asking if he wanted to team up. He pulled out his phone and showed Ah the pic of the note. She instantly pulled back, not really buying into it the way he did. Ah seemed way more suspicious about the whole thing. Looking back, he realized jumping in with random people was always going to be risky and full of wild cards. Wanted to team up with him because they'd known each other before everything fell apart. In times like these, finding someone you can actually trust is pretty rare. It's even tougher for her since she's a woman. She can't just trust random people to have her back. Song totally gets where she's coming from and decides not to join up with the crew from that other building. Ah felt relieved that someone finally paid attention to what she had to say. Then she brought up something wild. Manager, the guy everyone thought was done for, might still be out there. That boss is tough, like nothing can take him down. She figured he probably found a spot to hide on another floor. On the first day, it was just the two of them stuck on the 6th floor, but he somehow slipped away, holed up in the break room while the pig stayed posted in the bathroom. He called out for help, but she just stood there, totally frozen, acting like she didn't even hear him. It was a while before she finally opened the door, only to see that the manager was already gone. He most likely dipped sometime during the night on day 2. Since then, checked out the 4th, 2nd, and 1st floors, grabbing whatever useful stuff she could find. She figured if the manager was still alive and hadn't dipped yet, he was probably chilling somewhere on the 3rd or 5th floor. As the night dragged on, Ah found her own spot, dealt with the freezing air, and eventually crashed out. Songjin Song kept thinking about the survivors next door. If they managed to find manager and linked up with that guy, things could get messy fast. Their squad might get bigger, and that'd be a real problem for him and Ah. Started overthinking, imagining how things could go totally sideways, but he snapped out of it and decided to stop stressing about stuff he couldn't control right now. He checked his coin count and watched the numbers climb. With what he had now, he could snag another cozy jacket for winter. Right now, a winter hat would be clutch. Right before he could just smash the buy button without thinking. He couldn't stop picturing Ah's beat-up feet. The world's basically ending and here he is, stuck on something like that. She could get frostbite out here, and if the pain gets to her, she'll be down for the count. In a place like this, slowing down means you're basically done. Honestly, getting her some comfy boots just makes sense. While his girlfriend was knocked out, he was online looking for some boots to surprise her. Right when it mattered most, he hesitated and shut the shop window. He got annoyed at himself, thinking he was being selfish for not dropping just 3 coins to help out a teammate and just looking out for his own comfort. He shoved that guilt to the back of his mind and told himself there's no rush. They don't have to move now, so he could just put off making the call for a bit. When the sun came up, he spotted already locked in on her phone. He checked if her battery was still holding up. She didn't see it coming. That night they plugged in the battery they picked up the day before, making sure it was ready. They also kept a backup just in case things went sideways. Her eyes landed on her phone and the battery was dropping fast. She mentioned that the company set up a solar power generator up on the roof. He had no idea they even had something like that, so checking out the top floor never even crossed his mind. Ah took the lead for a bit on a support project that had something to do with a smaller business. She found out the whole thing was set up and ready, but they spotted a problem before anyone could buy it, so everything got put on pause. She isn't sure what the defect really was, but she's pretty confident it wasn't anything major or dangerous. The solar power thing was just a test run, but it could still come in handy. She used to be the one running the project, so she actually knows how it works. Heard about this awesome new resource and was instantly down to give it a shot. Everything was chill on the way up the stairs, but when they got to the rooftop, things changed. The door was jammed shut with a ton of snow, so they all had to team up and really push to get it open. Right now, the rooftop was just straight up buried in snow, total mess. He spun around and stared at the top of the office building. That spot up there, that's where the secret to unlimited energy was hidden. Scanned the area and eventually spotted the ladder hooked onto the side. He reached up and tugged at it, but nothing happened. It wouldn't budge at all, it just stayed there frozen solid. The bottom step on the ladder sat way higher than he expected. Getting up there was going to take some effort. Ah stepped up ready to go first and signaled for someone to give him a lift. He was lucky the platform wasn't that tall. With a solid jump he got up there without breaking a sweat. She probably moves like that because she was an athlete before. Every step she takes is smooth and controlled, like she's got it all down. Anae brushed the snow off the platform, doing her best to clear it with her hands. After a while the solar panels showed up, peeking out from under the soft cloud-like layer. She couldn't wait to tell her new partner what happened, so she jumped on her phone and sent the news right away. The panels are pretty small, so she's able to break them down and hand them off. After messing around with it for a bit, she gets the first piece ready and teams up with to pull it out carefully. They ran through the whole routine 3 more times, each one just as smooth as before. By the time the day wrapped up, they headed off the rooftop carrying 4 solar panels, knowing these could end up being super useful later. The mission drained everyone, but they stuck together and got it done. Just like Ah said, setting it up was super easy. She had everything done in no time. These panels work way better outside, but there's no shot they're just dragging it out to some snow-covered field. Plus, with the sky always packed with clouds, barely any sunlight gets through, so it's not really gonna do much. She remembers that when the sun was blazing, her phone could get up to half charge just from sitting outside. But looking at the sky now, the sun's barely showing, so that's not happening today. They figured it was time to see what their new panels could really do. The phone stayed charging all day. The phone barely got 8% battery from that. If you wanted a full charge, it would take almost 2 weeks. That's way too slow to be useful. Ah woke up the next day, and all that hype he had yesterday was just gone. After working themselves to the bone, all they got was 8% battery. Stared at her feet, they were shaking and covered in bruises. He saw himself in her right then. They knew it probably wouldn't go well, but seeing it actually happen still hit kind of hard. tried to stay positive and realized something important. He was pretty sure he'd just figured out the perfect spot to hit up if they ever dipped out of the office. No need to go far, there's a logistics warehouse the company owns, not too far from where they are. That spot probably has some food and gear they'd need to keep going. Getting there was the real struggle. Sure, they could probably grab a car, but driving on those slick, frozen roads with no GPS sounded like a nightmare. Maybe they could use their phones to sketch out a map on paper, but even that felt risky. Ah told him there was no need for a map since the warehouse was basically right by her place. She usually walks past that spot whenever she goes out for a stroll. Day by day, she keeps showing Ah that choosing her as a partner was a solid move. Having someone to count on and a clear mission has Ah feeling fired up, ready to take on whatever comes next. She's not the most skilled, but she's always ready to step up when things get tough. Even with her feet messed up, she handles her own business without complaining. She never once eyed his winter boots either. He decided right then what he was gonna do. The question was definitely weird, but he still went ahead and asked her what size shoes she wore. He made something up, telling this random story about spotting some boots earlier. When she heard that, her whole vibe changed. She looked happy and started answering right away, not even caring that the explanation was kinda sus. She actually offered to tag along with him to go get those boots. Rushed over to the door, telling her to just chill for a second. He wasn't about to let her catch him using his weird power yet. A few minutes later, he showed up holding some winter boots that looked pretty cool and fit Ah just right. After he handed her the gift, something about the moment just hit different. The system popped up letting him know the party was set up. That was something new. Now whenever someone in the party grabbed coins, they'd go straight into his account without him having to do anything. Building a bigger squad could actually help him out a lot. Sharing shop items with the other survivors might be what kicks things off. He zoned out for a bit, not really paying attention, while I just kept appreciating him for hooking her up with those super comfortable boots. He got so locked in thinking about what else the system could do, he totally zoned out and didn't even notice her talking. When she watched her hand go right through the system, she knew she had to shift her position. Suddenly, he snapped back to reality. Jin Song said he was just hungry and feeling a little out of it, so the kind lady handed him some food from her stash. For now, he decided to chill on thinking about all the weird system stuff. They headed back to their usual hangout to grab some food. It's been 2 weeks since everything went down and the snow hasn't let up for a second. 3 days ago, they ran out of water, so now everyone's really starting to feel it. Today, he's finally going to try melting some snow in a pan to get something to drink. Ah stepped up and grabbed some papers, ready to toss them in the fire. They knew starting a fire indoors was a no-go, so they headed up to the roof to get one going. Of course, that was risky too. Smoke on the rooftop could catch the attention of any raiders lurking around. People like that always roll deep. With everything falling apart, raiders squat up and do whatever messed up stuff they want, stealing, killing, hurting people, even worse. Tried not to light a fire so they wouldn't get spotted by these guys, but now there's no other way. They grabbed a lighter and set some office papers on fire. He stacked them all on top of this metal drawer box. They hadn't felt this kind of warmth in ages. For a second, just chilling on a. Songjin Song just sat there, chilling by the fire, soaking up the cozy heat. They dumped some snow right onto her favorite pan, not even thinking twice about it. He scraped together enough melted water just to get something to drink, really needing to stay hydrated. They sat together, passing a cup of warm water back and forth. They couldn't even remember the last time they had real water to drink, not to mention anything hot. Ah got teary-eyed. She was starting to realize she'd almost forgotten what real kindness felt like in a world that usually felt cold. They spent the night just chilling together, both pretty grateful they stuck it out and actually met. Moments like this can honestly keep someone going when things get rough. The night slipped by without much happening, and just like that, he made it to day 15. Ah woke up before everyone else and nudged to wake him up. She spotted something weird on the building across from them and showed him what she found. The dude who's been lurking across the way just dropped another message. He said the rest of the survivors are on their way over, trying to team up. Basically, they're crossing over to link up with them. Snapped to attention as soon as he heard the news. He'd just gotten the note like seconds earlier. Now things were about to get way more complicated. On noticed the group hustling around, so it looked like they'd be on this floor any minute now. They probably spotted the fire from last night. She couldn't really tell if they were cool or just some sketchy raiders trying to get lucky. Honestly, they could be trouble. At the front of the building, a group of guys in heavy winter jackets stepped out, each holding some kind of blunt weapon. For now, Ana and Jinsong grabbed their stuff and bounced from their spot. Some of the neighbors actually set up wooden shields to handle the zombies wandering around outside. They were way quicker and way more on point than anyone thought. The three of them took down the undead like they'd done this 100 times already. He used noises to draw the mindless monsters over. He picked out each target alone and took them down fast, not wasting any time. If things kept going like this, those two would be climbing up the office building in no time, probably 10 minutes, maybe 15 if they slowed down. They wrapped up packing, but honestly they'd already burned through a good chunk of their time. The neighbors had everything going their way, but then they slipped up. He messed up and ended up bringing way more zombies than he could handle. Once they figured out they messed up, they just went for it and sprinted straight at the building, with a pack of zombies chasing right behind them. The dude with the demolition mace just broke the glass and stepped right in like he owned the place. He watched as things started to heat up. He looks over at Ah, checking if she's doing all right. She nods, showing she's already got everything together. Now they had to figure out how to haul this solar panel around. He tells her to drop it, but she doesn't want to, saying ditching it would cost them their power. Even though she pushes back, he's got a point. Staying alive comes first. She stands up slowly, not really wanting to, but goes along with him anyway. They grab the weapons they made and start moving out. Not too long after, they notice the enemy closing in. The whole place feels frozen, like the cold just hits harder with every second. They're stuck, and the only ways out are either heading up to the roof or making a break for the floor below. With how cold it is out, they skip the rooftop since it would just slow them down. They decided to switch things up and went down to a lower floor. When they got to the 6th floor, they blocked off the entrance and stayed on alert, ready for whatever might come their way. Someone's footsteps start heading their way. He lets Ah know to get set for what's coming. Even though both of them are a little on edge, they're ready to go. The noises keep getting louder, closing in on her. Out of nowhere, something clicks in her mind. He realizes the enemies are out there hunting for anyone still alive. The group was almost at the 6th floor, so the two stayed sharp, weapons ready just in case. But time passed and nobody showed up. Starts to get this weird vibe, like something just isn't right. The ground starts shaking under their feet and both of them just stand there, completely thrown off. Neither of them gets what's going on. Out of nowhere, this loud noise blasts through the air, rattling them even more. Both of them hit the ground and quickly look over, making sure the other one's good. They pause, kind of lost for a second, and start thinking maybe there was some kind of explosion. But with just the two of them around, it doesn't really make sense for someone to set off a blast. He suddenly remembers the note, "Don't go near the 5th floor no matter what." That warning just sticks in his head. He remembers the time Ah let him know the section chief probably made it out alive. He might have ended up hiding out on the 3rd floor or maybe the 5th. Those were his best bets for cover in the building. After piecing things together, he stands up and heads for the 5th floor to see what's up. Hangs back for a moment, not sure if this move really makes sense. He lets her know he's pretty confident about his guess, and if he's right, they're on the right track for sure. As soon as they step onto the 5th floor, they walk in and see the place totally wrecked. Broken walls everywhere and glass smashed all over the floor. He reminds Ah to watch out and stay sharp about what's going on around her. Out of nowhere, just froze. He tells him to check out something off to the side, so he turns his head that way, curious about what's going on. His mouth hangs open, totally caught off guard. Right in front of him, there's a dead body. He moves in front of Ah, making sure she stays behind him as he heads out to see what's up. He looks around and spots just 2 bodies. After checking the place, he figures there aren't any more bombs left. He finds a door that's totally wrecked, like someone went off on it. Out of nowhere, he catches someone mumbling about how unlucky they are. He knows that voice right away. Without thinking, he heads straight toward it. He runs into Chief and suddenly everything clicks for him. Chief was behind the blast this whole time, standing there just muttering to himself, not really making sense. He snaps the guy back to reality, catches sight of, and honestly, he's caught off guard, didn't expect to run into him here. At the same time, his nerves are all over the place. The way he reacts though, it's like he's way too hyped up to see, and honestly it comes off kinda sus. He's desperate and reaches out for help. He pulls himself across the floor, not caring how rough it gets. He's begging for help, desperate because his leg is gone and he's not ready to go out like this. He's rattled. Ah shows up behind him, probably heard talking. When spots Ah, he can't believe it's actually her and does everything he can to prove he's for real. Found himself stuck, not sure what to do. He told the guy straight up that he didn't have any pills and reminded him they weren't real doctors, so there wasn't much they could do to actually help. Starts tearing up, telling everyone he really wants to stay alive. He's doing everything he can to make them believe he's got what it takes to make it through. He suddenly throws out a wild plan. If he turns into a zombie, that's his way to keep going. He begs them to just bring a zombie over and let it bite him, thinking that being undead is better than dying for real. He's down to get tossed to the 1st floor if that's what it takes to get infected. Jin Song hears what he said, but just shakes his head and says sorry again, turning him down. Just loses it when they turn him down. He starts yelling, saying he was the one who kept the raiders away for everyone and now they're just tossing him aside. He throws out some wild claims too, accusing them of being together and not wanting him around because he'd just slow them down. Both of them just watch him, but he keeps going like nothing's up. He's totally heated and decides he's taking them out with him since there's still a bomb ready to blow. Starts crawling toward the bombs, still throwing out every curse he can think of. It hit them, they were straight up raiders. The bag's got nothing inside. So on the same page as him, he checks out the shield. It's totally busted from the blast and can't be used anymore, but at least they snag the hammer. But the thing weighs a ton, so he's not sure if they should hang on to it or just leave it behind. Ah looks like she just saw something she can't unsee. When he spots her, he tries to let her know things would ended badly no matter what. She glances over at him. He talks about how manager would just gotten weaker and weaker from losing so much blood, and honestly, passing away sooner probably saved him from having to deal with all that pain. He can tell she probably feels guilty, so he lets her know it's not her fault. He throws out another what if, telling her that if the manager turned into a zombie, there's no way around it. They'd have to take him out no matter what. She snaps awake. She finally lets go of the guilt and sides with him. As the sun starts coming up, they both end up standing by the window. She gestures for him to check something out outside, making him focus on where she's pointing. He crouches and checks out what's going on outside. Things are wild right now. Zombies are everywhere, just wandering around. Later on, they're scrolling through their phones and see everyone posting about the explosion, talking about how insanely loud it was. Ah notices that everyone around already figured out where the explosion started. Looking at the situation, he figures that now everyone's talking about it, so other raiders are definitely gonna show up. On top of that, the zombies piling in are seriously making things a mess. He's been keeping an eye on everything since yesterday and noticed the zombies are showing up everywhere now, just getting worse as time goes on. Most of them are just hanging out close by, barely moving. At this point, everyone figures the lobby's probably so packed with zombies, you couldn't even squeeze in. They made up their minds to head out first thing in the morning, since letting zombies take over the emergency exit just wasn't an option. After hearing the plan, Ah's on board with it. They get up and head downstairs to see what's going on. While they're walking, suddenly catches this strange sound. He starts thinking if Jin Song can hear that noise too. The banging is seriously loud. He's got no doubt the noise is coming from upstairs. They move in close, trying to figure out what's making all that noise. When they finally look, they can't believe it. Zombies are actually inside the office. Sienna freezes, eyes wide as everything hits her all at once. His mind was spinning. He just couldn't figure out how the zombies made it inside. He was certain was already gone before any of this started. He does his best to help chill out. Looks like someone from the third floor, someone they totally missed, might have made their way up to the fifth floor. Maybe something slipped in through the busted window up on the fifth floor. They start making their way back down to the first floor. Cracking the door open just a bit, they spot the whole place packed with zombies everywhere. Nobody thought things would get this wild. They figured it'd be rough, but now the whole first floor is just packed with zombies. They glance over at the security room. If the manager had been in there, he would picked up on the zombies way before anyone else. He pulls the gate closed behind him. That path was basically a dead end, so they switched it up and headed for the underground parking garage instead. They hadn't seen any zombies there earlier, so they decided to head down and see if the coast was still clear. When they get to the garage, he notices there aren't nearly as many zombies as there were upstairs. With the weather turning freezing out of nowhere and a bunch of people not ditching their cars, there's plenty of parked vehicles around for everyone to use as cover. Moving fast is their best bet, since without any wind in the parking lot, the zombies probably can't catch their scent. He ducks down behind a truck, staying out of sight. Points out the car's mirror to Ah, getting her to check out what she can see in the reflection. She spots the B1F sign, but her vision is kind of blurry, so she can't really tell what it says. She can only spot the entrance from the passage to B1F, and honestly it looks like there are about as many zombies there as there were on B2F. After hearing what was said, Jin Song thinks it's best if they all just head up to the 7th floor for now. Later on they're hanging out together when brings up how cool it would be to just drive somewhere. But nobody knows if any of the cars will even start after sitting out in the cold for so long, so that idea's out. Walking's the only move left, so they start figuring out a plan for that. The temperature just keeps going down, and at one point it hits 35 degrees. About 5 hours before they had to leave, everyone tried catching some sleep, but it was hard with how cold it was. Ah thinks about and wonders if he even got any sleep last night. He just keeps rolling around, not getting any sleep, even though he's not up for it. She suddenly gets it. He's had the first floor person on his mind this whole time. He thinks about taking her with him but decides not to. He's grateful but says it's too risky for both of them. He knows he's just feeling guilty since they actually seem pretty chill. She tells him not to stress, things will probably get even tougher when they're out there. He wants to know if she'd be cool with letting more people join their group, and she's down. Right after that, he stands up and grabs his phone. He starts typing out a message, letting everyone know he's heading out at sunrise. If anyone else wants to dip too, he tells them to meet him by the first floor emergency exit before 6 a.m. The next morning, right at 5:40 a.m., the two of them are up and set to head out. Nobody else replied in the comments about teaming up with them. They're really hoping someone shows up when they get there. When they get to the emergency exit, nobody's around. They hang back for a bit just to see if anyone else rolls up before they dip. 5 minutes rolled by. Nobody else turns up, so they just start heading out. He glances out the door and spots a new zombie hanging around, one he definitely didn't see earlier. Right away, he knows he's got no choice but to take it out and stick to plan A. Oz starts to see what everyone online was saying. These zombies really do just loop around the same places, and a few of them barely move at all. While he's crouched behind a car, he catches sight of a zombie that needs to go down. Just as he gets ready to step out from behind the car, things start to get real. The zombie jumps straight at him, making this guttural noise. He stepped up, totally sure of himself and ready to handle handle whatever came next. He swings his weapon and drops the zombie to the ground. Oz steps up and helps wrap things up. The system pops up and lets everyone know that someone in their party just scored a coin. Now the coin was stuck with the party leader. After taking out the zombie, he shoots his partner a thumbs up. She just grins back at him, both of them feeling pretty good about it. They head out and start walking. The second they step out, the cold hits way harder than they thought it would. If they tried crashing outside for the night, they'd probably freeze. They keep it moving, heading straight for knowing zombies can't handle stairs. They're not moving as fast as everyone thought they would. This way, they could stay low-key and move around without anyone noticing, just keeping it chill. After a bit, they finally spot where they're headed. They move slow and keep their guard up, since there are zombies everywhere near the police station. They keep moving forward, closing the gap little by little. Out of nowhere, snow starts falling. The wind picks up, and now their scent is getting carried straight to the zombies. The wind was blowing straight at the police station. Before long, the zombies around there pick up on their smell. He takes off, sprinting straight at them. They both start freaking out, not sure what their next move should be. If they hit their first stop, that's it. They're not making it out alive. The zombies can't make their way down the stairs, but that doesn't stop them from just jumping straight down. All that noise would just pull in even more zombies. Right now, they just need to find a way into a building. The thing is, almost every building's already crawling with zombies. If they managed to get into one, it'd probably pull even more zombies their way. There's no time to waste, they need to move fast. They take off to the left, heading straight for a bus. They mess with the bus door, pushing and pulling, but it just won't budge. No matter what they do, it's locked tight. He notices a key sitting inside, and right then, things start to look up. Out of nowhere, the door just swings open. The zombies don't waste any time and start chasing right after them. Somehow, the two of them get the gate blocked just in time. The crowd of zombies outside just keeps growing, and the bus refuses to start up. Sayonara starts freaking out. Is locked in, doing everything he can to get the bus going so everyone can bail. The bus finally gets moving, stumbles and drops backwards. The hero checks on her, making sure she's good. She stands up, brushes herself off, and lets him know she's fine. He let her know to hang on, since he was about to hit the gas and take off fast. He slams his foot down and the car takes off right away. He kept walking for a while. He notices the streets outside are iced over. They just have to slam the brakes out of nowhere. The bus finally comes to a stop. She glances out the window, then heads over to the door and finds out something's blocking it. They got out of the first mess, but now they're just standing there, not really sure what move to make. They need a way to pull the zombies' attention somewhere else. Right now, the zombies just stand around, not moving, waiting for something to catch their attention. More and more zombies start showing up, and the crowd just keeps getting bigger. If they kept slamming into the door like that, the whole bus could tip over. They're starting to think it might really be over for them, like all their chances just slipped away. He knows quitting isn't an option. He's worked way too hard to just back out now. So he pushes himself to focus even more, determined to figure things out. Out of nowhere, something wild happens. Out of the blue, a loud clang grabs the zombies' attention and throws them off. They bolt out to check what made that noise. The two finally chill out a bit when most of the zombies clear out. There are still a few hanging around, but they're pretty sure those will bounce soon too. The hero starts thinking about where that noise just came from. Spots an open window in the building close by and gestures at it, figuring that's where the thing probably dropped from. She glances up, thinking it must come from either the second or third floor. He starts thinking about who had his back like that. All looked pretty hyped, thinking that maybe there was still someone out there who hadn't lost their mind yet. Out of nowhere, she realizes it's the same guy who had their back before, the one who basically showed up like an undercover hero. Someone waves at them, and it's pretty clear it's a woman. Leans in and notices there's a woman straight up spying on them with binoculars. That totally catches the protagonist off guard. Both of them pull out their phones and start texting, letting her know they're grateful she had their backs. She gives a quick thumbs up back, showing she's good with it. They're both seriously hyped, just thankful that the woman stepped in and bailaid them out from those zombies. Ah felt pretty relieved seeing that not everyone left was out to cause trouble. There were still decent people around. Even tried to lighten things up, saying he'd buy her instant noodles to show some thanks. He gets a nudge from his partner, who points out they're out of food. They both just crack up, realizing how wild their situation is. Ah starts thinking about whether there's still any ramen stashed in the warehouse. It's already decided ramen's the first thing they're going for. Later on the bus, he just sat there scrolling through his phone, zoned out while everything around him blurred past the window. Even with every layer they owned piled on, both of them were still freezing. Spots Ah acting kind of weird, and it catches her off guard that he's up this late. He checks her out and sees she's looking super pale, like something's definitely not right. He sneezes right after, which pretty much says he's got the same cold now. He notices the cold is creeping in, even with the bus windows shut tight. Brushes it off like it's no big deal, acting confident that she's got it under control. He grabs her hand and right away notices it's freezing. Her lips started to go blue and she couldn't stop shaking. He realizes that if they don't get moving and warm up soon, they'll end up stuck and unable to move at all. They start coming up with ideas to keep warm. The protagonist comes up with the idea to start a fire so everyone can stay warm. Oz starts thinking about how building a fire inside the bus could get them all choked out, but's already got it handled. He's planning to set up a little vent so the smoke can get out. Smashing a window isn't an option. They know the zombies would instantly come for them if they tried. They grab their weapons and start hacking away at the bus roof, managing to make 3 vents so everyone can actually breathe. Earlier they grabbed some papers so now they can actually get a small fire going. Once the fire's up, they start to feel the warmth, finally not freezing for once. Ah checks her phone, spots a post that's actually about her and shares it with him. The post comes from the same people who helped them out before, asking if they could team up. To make sure the message is actually for them, they start sharing details about where they are, stuff like the car parked close to the bus and the convenience store nearby. Once everything checks out, gives a quick thanks for the help. The others, kind of hyped about how things went, ask if they can tag along on the next adventure. He glances up at Ah, not really sure what their next move should be right now. A guy slides open his window to check out what's going on outside. He catches sight of a zombie struggling to haul itself up the wall. He totally panics and starts grabbing anything nearby, chucking it at the zombie. Each hit lands on its head, and after a few tries, the thing finally drops for good. He goes online and starts wondering if the zombies are actually some kind of mutants. He studies the undead, checking out every detail up close. He can't shake the feeling that the face looks super familiar, so he does a quick check and realizes it's actually the manager from the climbing gym next door. That's when he gets it. Zombies can still hang on to stuff they knew before everything went wild. Around 8:56 in the morning, the two of them start heading off the bus. While they're walking together, Ah brings up that post about mutants they scrolled past earlier and wants to know what thinks. Just shrugs like he's not surprised at all. It's almost like he expected something like that to pop up. Back then when the blast took out the windows, manager didn't make it. The zombies probably made their way inside by scaling the building's walls. They hang out for a bit, just waiting for the rest of the crew to show up. At exactly 9 a.m., a girl walks outside, heads over to her looking pretty happy, spots the girl rocking a thick padded jacket, and just like that, she starts wishing she had one too. Tells her not to stress about it, saying they'll grab some winter clothes later. Checks out the woman, she seems chill and honestly pretty nice. Just like that, it looks like they're about to team up as a squad of 3. Things take a wild turn for the kind woman. Out of nowhere, a zombie jumps in and goes straight for her. He sunk his teeth into her neck. The two of them just freeze, not really sure what to think. The zombie starts tearing into her body, not stopping for a second. He quickly puts his hand over his mouth, catching on that the zombies are showing up because they can smell them. Sticking around isn't an option. They know they'll end up eaten if they don't get moving fast. He gets moving right away, but Ah just stands there, completely frozen. He lets her know it's time to head out. She's still looking pale, clearly shaken by what just happened. He pushes her to chill out and focus, telling her they need to keep moving if they want to make it through this. She glances over at him, realizing he's got a point. They get moving again, making their way toward where they need to be. They end up at some underground station, but they're not totally sure if they're even going the right direction. Hanging out above ground is sketchy, so they figure it's safer to just chill underground for now. They start thinking about everyone who was on their way home, questioning if any of them caught whatever was going around. Out of nowhere, the wind picks up again. They had to head downstairs, no other way out. Ah scoped out the area and didn't spot any zombies around. There were just bodies on the ground, people who'd clearly been stomped by everyone rushing past. Starts wondering if maybe some of them didn't get run over after all. If everyone was just trapped in the subway, it probably means they just couldn't get out in time. She gives him a tap on the shoulder, and when he turns to look at her, she nods over at a convenience store. The protagonist lights up, grinning wide without even trying to hide it. As soon as they walk in, the place is totally cleared out. Ah looks around, thinking maybe it's time to check out the storage room. They walk into the room and spot 4 cans of beer sitting there. It honestly seemed like somebody just set them down there on purpose. They go ahead and grab 2 of them. They step outside and head to a clothing store, but it's already been cleaned out, nothing left on the shelves. Ah figured it was summer, so winter clothes probably wouldn't be there anyway, but she still didn't think the racks would be totally empty. Glances over at the phone shop next door and notices it's totally fine, like nothing even happened. He figures they're gonna have to walk way farther than they planned, really hoping it's not going to be more than 20 kilometers. Ah lets him know what she spotted earlier on the wall. She thought it was weird but still snapped a pic of it. The wall looked like it knew something wild was coming, but this was next level, way more than anything it had pictured. Now it felt nervous, totally lost, and had no clue what move to make or which direction to take. Everything was just off and it couldn't figure out how to get out. It honestly sounds like the person who messed everything up is the one who wrote this. Ah's phone dies, so they just keep moving forward. While they're walking, they notice the place is spotless, like way too clean. Not even a single animal around, which honestly feels kind of weird. All the zombie bodies have totally vanished, so they probably regrouped somewhere else. Just thinking about bumping into them sends a cold shiver down Ah's spine. They keep walking for a bit, and then the train finally pops up in front of them. They step onto the train, checking out every corner, but there's nothing there, not even a body. Stumbles onto something unexpected. There's a box, and inside there's a kitchen knife. She checks out the blade, noticing it's pretty sharp even though it's not that long, definitely still something she could use. Digs around in another compartment and pulls out a Bluetooth speaker. He holds it up for Ah to see, thinking it could help draw the zombies away. They look around some more but turn up empty-handed, realizing they probably should check this place out way earlier. They start making their way out. He stumbles on something weird, a zombie just standing there. No matter what's going on around it, this zombie doesn't flinch at lights or noises. The undead guy towers over everyone, and when you really look at him, there's something about him that just rings a bell. Ah spots the guy and realizes he used to play pro baseball in the KBO. Now it makes sense why the zombie-s got that crazy height. Since they know what happened before, they're keeping their distance and staying alert, knowing it could easily take control if they're not careful. They creep behind the zombie, making sure not to get noticed, just trying to avoid any pointless fights. Doesn't matter how sneaky they try to be, the zombie still picks up on them and turns their way. The thing starts sprinting straight at them, so shouts for Ah to stick to what they did before. She gets ready and clocks just how quick the zombie really is. The zombie lunges straight at him. He just goes for it and drives his weapon right into the thing. Ah steps up and takes it out with a clean hit to the head. Both of them freeze up when their weapon snaps the second it hits. It was actually a golf club, and they just couldn't get over how strong this dude was. The zombie glares at them, looking straight up annoyed. He nearly went after Ah, and Ah slips behind it, staying low-key, and grabs the broken golf club. He lines up his shot from the back, ready to swing and catch it off guard. She jams the stick straight into its head. He took out the zombie right away. They both stare at it lying on the ground. He couldn't believe how tough it was. The thing kept pulling itself forward even after getting stabbed in the shoulder. Felt bad for not stepping in to help her out, but she totally got it. There really wasn't anything he could have done in that situation. Yanked the busted golf club out of the zombie's head, eyeing it for a second. He started thinking about whether it made sense to hook it up to the wooden spear right now. He's down with the plan because his wooden spear's busted too, so now they've got a chance to build something new by putting the two broken ones together. After some time, they put together a fresh weapon. He got himself together and started moving again. They keep moving through the area, but it's basically empty, nothing good left to grab. It's starting to look like someone already cleaned this place out. At least they're almost at Dong Station, so that's something to look forward to. While they're just walking along, out of nowhere, this massive boom goes off, almost like something exploded. They stop right there and decide it's not worth moving ahead. They dip out of there fast and jump into a train close by to hide. Ah can't help but get stressed thinking about what just happened. Signals for her to keep quiet. He glances out the window and spots something headed straight for them. Out of nowhere, a huge crowd of zombies just rushes straight at them. They're always ready to throw down if something pops off. The zombies suddenly take off the other way. Ah lets out a breath, finally a little less stressed, but isn't letting his guard down. He knows things aren't over yet, not after where those zombies just came from. Now both of them are stuck trying to figure out their next move. He heads over to the station, where zombies are already all over the place. He could either stay where he was or head straight toward where everything just blew up. Ah thinks they should just lay low and not make a move. If they just walk by like they did before, things are gonna get real bad, but hanging back isn't really safe either. Points out how the fast zombies just zoomed by and didn't even notice them, but the slow ones, yeah, those could pick up their scent without a problem. Ah decides to hear out. He figures it's best to turn around and get out fast, hoping the zombies don't catch on to them. They roll up to Section 3 and hop onto a train, staying alert. Starts thinking about where all the zombies went, but he stays calm and tells her they'll be fine as long as they don't mess up. He grabs Ah and gets her up on the roof of the train. His hands slid off because they were sweaty. Out of nowhere, he lets go and she hits the ground. He made a ton of noise. The zombies pick up on the noise right away. Out of nowhere, Ah finds himself getting chased by those guys. Quickly reaches out and grabs Ah, not wasting a second. He grabs her and lifts her right onto the top of the train. Out of nowhere, a zombie snags her foot. She jumps right in and gets things started. Zombies start showing up everywhere, taking over the whole place. They take off, heading straight for the exit. They manage to get to the stairs. He takes down a zombie and dips out of there fast. After some time, they finally got out and found a spot behind a closed door. They just sat there for a second, trying to chill and get their breath back. They barely escaped getting eaten by the zombies, saved at the very last second. Noticed Ah's foot since a zombie almost grabbed her, so he wanted to check it out. They pull off her shoe and spot a tiny mark on her foot. It probably happened when the zombie's claw scraped him. Good thing it wasn't a bite, just a scratch. It still gets her stressed, since there's a chance it could lead to an infection. She starts tearing up, seriously thinking this could be the end for her, or that she might turn into a zombie next. After a while, they cleaned up the cuts. She starts to chill out once she realizes it's not a big deal. Having that first aid kit on hand really saved the day. Checks out the kit and notices a bunch of stuff isn't there. They check out the place and realize it's already been picked clean. No snacks, no supplies, nothing worth grabbing. It's cool with it, but after throwing hands just now, the crew decides to chill and catch their breath before doing anything else. He glances around, checking out everything nearby, trying to spot anything out of the ordinary. He spots a key and his whole face lights up. He spots the key and finally chills out a bit, knowing they've got a safe spot to crash for the night. This definitely wasn't what he came for, so he keeps looking around. It doesn't take long for him to notice stuff is out of place. Someone else already went through here. He starts flipping through the book, checking out what's inside. He notices a logbook sitting there. Inside, he found the password he needed for the locker. Ah watches as cracks the safe, and he can't help but be impressed by how smooth moves are. He's open about his past, saying he used to work at the subway before. He realized they always jotted down the easy passwords right in the logbook. She's curious about what could be hidden in the safe, thinking maybe it holds something cool. But he lets her know it's nothing wild, just the regular station keys inside. All that really counts for them is what he brings out next. Sitting in front of him is a box, and inside there's a gun. He explains that it's just a gas gun, something subway stations always have on hand. She can't help but think it's wild that they'd keep something that risky around, especially somewhere packed with people. Every morning, he says, the staff goes around picking up all the cash at the station. Just in case someone tries to rob the place, they keep a gas gun on hand for protection. He passes the gun to her so she can hold on to it. She turns it down because she's never even touched a gun before. She knows if things got real, she probably couldn't use it to protect anyone. He gets why she feels that way. He ends up handing her the key. She grabs the key and he lets her know it's for the staff room. He rushed to swing the door open. The guys light up when the key actually works. The door swings open. They head in together. The next sight hits them hard. They spot a guy who honestly looks like he hasn't eaten in days, or maybe he got stuck out in the cold way too long. They grab his clothes to bring along since they actually need them. The two of them crash onto the bed, tangled up in the blankets, and instantly everything feels way better than it did earlier. Ah looks at the empty bags. They're totally out of snacks now, so she thinks they should just bring the blankets along too. They finally get to chill for a bit, just lying down without having to watch their backs every second. All that running from zombies drained them, and now sleep is catching up fast. There's not much food left, maybe enough for 2 days if they don't go crazy with it, so they know they've got to make it to the warehouse before that runs out. He checks out the winter clothes. He figures they'll have to head back up at some point, so keeping the clothes close could actually come in handy. Stuff underground wasn't looking steady at all, and honestly, if things got any worse, they'd have to hike way farther above ground than they planned. He's sitting on 8 coins, which is just enough for him to grab one for himself and hook his partner up with one too. He can't make up his mind right away, so he just puts it off for now. Scanning the shop, he notices some new items and starts to wonder if they dropped a fresh update. After that, he goes to wake up his partner, but she's not feeling it and just wants a few more minutes of sleep. Wakes up letting out a big yawn. After grabbing their things, they start heading out. They step outside and instantly notice something's off. There are cars parked in weird spots, way too perfectly lined up, like someone actually set it up that way on purpose. Heads up to see what's going on. She held a torch between her teeth. Her face instantly freezes in fear when she sees what's in front of her. There were about 12 zombies standing across from him. Thinks they should check out the other side, but when he gets there, it's packed with zombies too. They start wondering if there's a way to cover up their scent, hoping it'll keep them out of trouble. Checks out the shop, noticing it only lets people buy secret items. It's not for eavesdropping or anything. If an item's not there, it means nobody's scanned for it yet. But if it does show up, the scanner's already been used, even if nobody actually bought the thing. Goes ahead and grabs the Explorer item. A search icon pops up on the screen. He goes for it and tells the Explorer to look up a vaccine. He checks, but nothing pops up. He tells everyone to start looking for a zombie cure. No matter what he tries, it ends up the same way every time. He goes back to looking for zombie antibodies online, but nothing comes up. Even after switching up the search terms a few times, he still finds 0 results. He knew he lost this one. Honestly, he already saw it coming and braced himself to take the L, but he still thought it was worth giving it a shot. Out of nowhere, he switches things up and starts looking around for some deodorant. The Explorer spots a deodorant made for him, and it's just 1 coin. The thing is, it only keeps him fresh for about 90 minutes before it wears off. He's just relieved he managed to score some deodorant, but honestly, the price tag kinda blew his mind. It's about 11 kilometers from where they are too, and with the freezing weather plus dodging zombies, it'll take them around 4 hours to get there. He figures he and Ah both need at least 3 deodorants each to make it. After checking his coins, he sees there are only 7 left. He ends up grabbing the deodorants anyway, even though he was trying to hold onto his cash. The protagonist picks up the deodorants and gives Ah her bottles. She's surprised, not really expecting him to have them. He just says he found them sitting in a bag on the platform, playing it casual. Ah starts thinking about whether this plan will actually work but just goes for it, saying they should try anyway and bail if it flops. Both of them put the deodorant on themselves and even spray down their backpacks. When they're good to go, they head out of the subway. He thinks they should start moving faster, just in case zombies pop out. Right then, a strong gust kicks up out of nowhere. Seamus notices a zombie lurking close by. He goes and fills in on what happened. They get closer to the zombie, but it just stands there not doing anything. They start thinking maybe the deodorant is actually doing its job. The zombie suddenly screams up at the sky, making everything go quiet for a second. They start thinking about whether the zombie saw them or not. They just stand there and don't move. The zombie spins around. They both notice the deodorant is actually doing its job. Thinks they should just keep moving forward. After some time, they head down the street and end up walking by a gun shop. Ah looks at the store and sees everything still in place, like nobody's messed with it. She figures either some raiders already cleaned it out or maybe the shop owner's hiding in there ready to defend his stuff. Thinks they should just keep it moving and come back later since whoever's inside probably has weapons. Before long, they end up at station. So already over this trip, he thought they'd be in by now, not still wandering around. He figures it's better to just find somewhere to crash for the night. Ah says she'll scout out the right side, so checks the left. They both look around, trying to see if there's anywhere decent to stay. He looks around and spots a few windows that haven't been busted yet. Jin Xiang spots a room with the door locked tight. Zombies are just roaming all over the place. He takes a look around and just knows this spot isn't it for them. He met back up with Ah and turns out Ah couldn't score a decent spot to crash either. Wants a spot where zombies can't get to him. Somewhere chill, locked down tight, and safe from anything trying to break in. They head inside the building, ready to check things out. Ah looks around for a while, and since he doesn't spot any zombies close by, he thinks it's finally safe. She grabs the handle on one of the doors and gives it a pull, but nothing happens. It's totally stuck. Ah thinks they should just smash it, but stops her. He knows breaking glass is loud, and that kind of noise would have zombies all over them in seconds. Ah is on the same page as him, but right when she's ready to call it quits. Isn't ready to give up. He really thinks there's another move they haven't tried yet. He looks around, checking all the shelves and digging through the cupboards, and finally comes across some backup keys. Sienna couldn't believe he somehow knew they were around. Had already spotted that the cafe keeps its doors open way past regular hours, with different people coming in to close up or open shop. He realized that with all those shift changes, someone's bound to lose a key now and then, so the staff usually stash a backup key somewhere close. That's how he managed to get his hands on one and get inside. He pushes open the door, and both of them walk into the cafe. They look around the spot and luckily score some flour and eggs that nobody else has grabbed yet. Ah wondered what to do with the flour, but figured they should just leave it for now. It was way too heavy to lug around, so he thought they could always come back for it later. Ah thinks it'd be better to just stash it somewhere. He nods, thinking her idea actually makes sense. Along with the snacks, they spotted a power bank and a watch. Sat down, checking how far they had to go. He figured if they kept moving like this, they'd probably get to the warehouse tomorrow. He wasn't too happy thinking about missing it, though it would kind of suck. Then he let everyone know they were down to just 4 chocolate bars left. Ah starts getting nervous, thinking there could already be people waiting at the warehouse, just like what happened back at the gun shop. She thought of something new and suggested they make up a code word, just in case one of them ended up in a bad spot. Didn't even argue, he was instantly down with the plan. Ah starts coming up with a just for them. Anae throws out the idea that they should drop the formal talk and just keep it chill if they ever run into trouble with something like guns. Throws out the idea that they should start talking more politely if they run into anyone holding a weapon that's not for long range. Ah sets up a plan for what to call him depending on how things go. If things are chill and they can keep it together, she'll call him. When things get iffy or she's not sure what's up, she'll switch to calling him sir. But if they ever have to dip or give up, that's when she'll drop. Ah thinks using these code words will help their messages blend in and not grab too much attention. Was down with the plan. Ah thinks they can finally chill for a bit, but out of nowhere, thunder cracks and lightning lights up the whole place. Thunder and lightning showing up while it's snowing catches them off guard and freaks them out, since that kind of weather hardly ever happens together. Looks outside and knows the snow's just going to keep coming down. Ah can't help but stress about how tomorrow's trip might get even messier. Not wanting to get caught up over it, she just says she's heading to bed. While Ah's knocked out, just chills on a chair nearby. He suddenly picks up on a weird noise coming from outside. He gets up to see what's going on and spots some guy pulled up on a motorcycle. Just figured out that motorcycles can actually handle snowy roads, which surprised him a bit. Still, he couldn't help but wonder what would make someone ride out this late at night. Noticed the motorcycle still heading their way. At first, he figured the guy was just taking a different route, but something about it didn't sit right with him. Right then, he spots a bunch of zombies trailing after the motorcycle, locked in on its path. Ah snaps awake, trying to figure out what's going on. Fills her in fast. The motorcycle made too much noise and now there's a horde of zombies rolling up. When Ah sees just how many there are, she starts stressing, realizing there could be hundreds closing in. Gets so frustrated that he smacks his head, finally realizing it's going to be even tougher for all of them when they show up, no matter how many people are left. Ah starts wondering about their next move. Runs through two ideas in his head. Maybe the writer just ran into the zombies out of nowhere and took off, or maybe there's something else going on and they're actually guiding everyone somewhere. Either way, he's worried that whatever the writer's up to could drag them all into a mess. Ah notices the food situation isn't looking good and tells the group they can't afford to mess around. So on the same page, reminding everyone that their spot is still more than 3 kilometers out, so heading back isn't really an option. Out of nowhere, Jin Song catches a new idea. He tells them to scroll through the community feed since there could be some helpful stuff. Pretty relieved they grabbed a power bank earlier. As soon as they scroll through the feed, the top posts are all about how wild it is to see thunder and lightning during a snowstorm. Someone mentions it's going down in, but another person from says their weather is totally chill right now. Ah points out that other places are getting snow too, nods but says knowing that doesn't really change anything for them. They keep scrolling through their feed and spot a post talking about a shelter in. Someone in the comments says they've met people who actually think there's a big shelter out there, but another person just shuts it down, saying the whole government's already done for. The main poster backs that up, saying the shelter info just came from some words scribbled on a sign. Another person jumps in, saying he's actually been to that place and barely made it out. He warns everyone that it's not a real shelter, it's more like some sketchy cult, and he's pretty much begging people to stay away. Some guy online just brushes it off, calling the whole thing nonsense. The original poster wonders if he really thinks it's fake, but the other dude says there's no way people would switch up that fast. It's only been a month since everything went down. The person posting just wants everyone to be careful. With everything falling apart and barely any food around, it seems weird for anyone to give out free food and clothes. He thinks this group might have some secret plan for all the people they're bringing in. After scrolling through the comments, Ah looks over at, letting him know the whole situation feels off. On the same page, he thinks it's weird how this shelter popped up so fast after the outbreak started, and somehow they've already got a big place with plenty of stuff for everyone. He remembers Deputy saying something about heading out to the west coast. Now he's thinking maybe they could track him down and figure out what's really going on. He decides they should just drop the whole shelter thing for now, and Sienna's cool with it. Puts his phone down, a little bummed that he still hasn't heard anything about the writer. Figures they'll just have to stick with what they planned from the start. They ate the last chocolates, clearing out the box. They keep moving toward the warehouse, but tells Ah to be ready. They might have to dip or turn back if a bunch of zombies show up. Not long after, they're out of deodorant, so let's all know they gotta hurry since the streets aren't packed with zombies right now. Not long after, Ah leans in and quietly points out they're probably getting pretty close. Looks around, but the fog gets heavier and blocks out everything ahead. He glances at his watch and notices the deodorant isn't working anymore. He's not happy about it. If they bump into zombies now, he thinks they'll have to throw hands, no way around it. Right then, Ah spots the warehouse gate. He quickly points it out too, making sure he notices right away. Can't help but grin when he sees how massive the place is. With a warehouse this big, he knows they're set on supplies for a long time. No stress about running out now. Grabs the handle and pulls, but the door's stuck. No matter what he does, it just won't budge. She notices right away that something's off. The warehouse was always open before, but now there's barbed wire all over it, and that definitely wasn't their last time. Curious if she's actually been to the place lately, and she mentions it's been a few months. He's not about to give up though, so he tells her they should find another way inside. After checking things out, Ah finds a spot in the fence where the barbed wire is gone. She lets know she's about to climb over. He steps in front of her, telling her to chill and not rush in since they have no clue what's waiting inside. He can't shake off this weird vibe about the open fence. It just doesn't sit right with him. But Ah basically tells him they're out of options, so he has to go with it. The deodorant wore off, so now they're out here hungry and need a place to crash. He hears her out and decides to go along with it. Still, he reminds her to watch her back just in case things get sketchy inside. Takes a step back, then charges ahead. He reaches out and gives her a hand. He hopped the fence. She's chilling up there, noticing how the warehouse is straight up empty. Without hesitating, she lets everyone know she's about to jump down. She has no idea there's someone weird lurking just out of sight, staying hidden behind something nearby. Right when Ah touches down, someone pops up right behind her and just aims a gun straight at her head. He motions for her to put her hands up. The weird guy checks over Sienna, looking for something. He checks her over and chills out when he sees she doesn't have any weapons. He wonders if she's there alone, and Ah just keeps it real. She lets him know her friend is waiting outside. He asks how many people are with her, and she lets him know there's just one. Right after, the guy tells her to hit up her friend and have them come in through the front gate. She had a gun right up against her head. Ah casually drops name and tells him to meet her at the front gate. Hears it and instantly realizes something's off. Since she's talking like everything's normal, he clocks that someone got her at gunpoint. He also catches that she dropped his name, so he knows they've got a plan to take down whoever's pulling this. He digs into his backpack, searching for something inside. He reaches for the gun he'd kept stashed away. He steps up like the guy wanted, not backing down or anything. The hero ducks behind the gate, staying out of sight. The attacker yells at him to drop his weapon, but he holds on tight, bracing himself for what's next. Acts like all he's got is his spear. He lets go of the spear. He takes his time heading for the exit. The main guy isn't sure what his next move should be. His gas gun only works up close, so getting a shot in means he'd have to risk stepping closer, and that's not happening without getting caught. So starts thinking smart, ready to mess with the attacker's head instead. He says he dropped his weapon and signals for the guy to let his friend go. The attacker tells Ah to step up. When the attacker finally gets right up on him, suddenly pops out from where he was hiding, pulls out his gun and aims it straight at the guy. He yells at Ah, telling her to get down. Ah, totally focused, drops down fast before anyone else even gets a shot off. The hero doesn't wait around, he takes the first shot. The gas blasts right into the attacker's face, and he instantly starts yelling, clearly hurting. The guy yells and pulls the trigger at the same time. The bullet zips past, just missing him. He dashes straight out where everyone can see him. Ah hustles to slip behind the guy. He charges straight at him and takes him down, digs into his backpack and grabs a roll of duct tape. He tosses it over to Ah, letting her handle tying him up. Right then, picks up on the sound of zombies closing in, all because of the gun that went off. He's quick to react, telling Ah to snag the key from the guy who attacked them. The guy starts yelling, holding on to it like his life depends on it. No way he's letting that go. Yells at him, demanding the key. Jin Xiang lets everyone know the zombies are closing in, and time's almost up. Just steps up and blasts the guy with a solid kick. He digs around in his pockets until she finally pulls out the key. She sprints over to the gate and tugs at it, hoping it'll budge. As the zombies started closing in, the hero kept throwing hands, not letting any of them get close. Keeps grabbing each key and testing it out, but nothing's clicking. No matter what she tries, the lock just won't budge. Out of nowhere, a zombie rushed straight at him. He moves out of the way just in time, and the zombie crashes straight into the gate. Right then, Ah gets it open. She yells out, telling the hero he needs to get in right now. They both dart inside without wasting a second. He rushed to shut the gate before any zombies slip through. Ah grabs some chains and a lock, then secures the gate shut so no one can get through. She quickly looked over to see if he got hurt. The main guy let her know he was good, then made sure she was alright too. The hero points out that the zombies pulled up because of the gunshots, so he thinks it's smarter if they just head inside for now. They turn around and suddenly remember the weird dude is still there. The guy's clutching his face and yelling since the gas got in his eyes and messed him up. The main guy thinks it's time to help him get inside the building. Both of them get a hold on him, and right when they start lifting him up, they spot the assistant manager, Sung, and it clicks, that's who it is. Once everyone was inside, and Sung finally rinsed his eyes that were stinging like crazy. Ah wanted to know if it was the same guy saw in the security room on the first floor. Nodded, letting her know he remembered. Ah leaned in close and quietly admitted she felt bad about how things turned out since she never thought they'd run into like that. The protagonist tells Sung to chill and not use the towel on his eyes. The manager owns up to what's going on, but his eyes are still stinging. He says sorry and lets him know the gas gun's effects won't wear off until tomorrow. Sung realizes he's in a tough spot now. He's in the kitchen, getting the tea ready, and just thinks how all this drama could have been avoided if someone had just given him a heads up. He knew he couldn't really defend himself, since he was the one who threw the first punch. Sung gets a nod from the hero, who's clearly grateful he gets it. The manager hands them both a hot cup of tea. They chill out, sipping their tea, just enjoying the moment. Wonders when Sung showed up at the warehouse, and Sung lets him know he's been there for 3 days already. He admits he actually showed up just to check out the solar panels. When finds out there are solar panels in the warehouse too, her eyes go wide and she looks totally surprised. He mentions he was just about to set them up when he spotted those two earlier that morning. At first, he put them on the lower windows, but since they weren't working well there, he ended up moving them up to the roof. Starts thinking about how tough it must be to take care of the roof when it snows. Meanwhile, the main character feels a sense of relief, since everything turned out alright, especially because Sung wasn't even planning to leave the warehouse at first. Sung started thinking about putting glass over the solar panels so snow wouldn't pile up on them. He also pointed out they had plenty of supplies to make it happen. Checks with Sung to see if there's still enough stuff left in the warehouse. The manager lets him know the warehouse is packed with all the building stuff they need. But when it's about food, he's not so sure. Ah starts thinking maybe it's just because he can actually see the food now. Sung's on the same page. He explains that when he showed up, the whole roof had caved in from all the snow. He just grabbed whatever he could find and brought it back. None of the food was going bad since it was all frozen. He let the other two know that when they had more people and the right gear, they could come back and grab more food. Hearing that, our guy felt a wave of relief. It was like a weight off his shoulders. The main guy finally drops the big question. He shows up out of nowhere, says sorry for dropping by without a heads up, and asks Sung if it's cool for them to crash at the warehouse. Thinks about how, in this world, you basically have to move fast if you want to make it. He's starting to realize that teaming up is actually the way to keep things under control and stay safe. Sung just nods, totally cool with it. Both the protagonist and Ah let out a breath, finally starting to relax. The stress melts away, and now there's this buzz of excitement between them. Sung lets it out that he'd already been thinking about asking them to stick around. Earlier, after everything that went down between them, he realized he just didn't have enough people to keep the warehouse safe. He gets it, more people are definitely going to show up, and if he just hangs out by himself, there's no way he keeps the warehouse for long. Sung feels pretty relieved seeing the two show up just when he needed backup. He knows having them on his side is a big win. Appreciates that Sung put his trust in them, and it kind of brings them all closer as a squad. Ana notices the zombies still circling the warehouse, making it clear they're not getting out anytime soon. The manager didn't expect this at all. He thought the zombies would already scattered, so seeing them grouped up caught him off guard. Looked at Sung, trying to figure out how he even managed to grab a gun in the first place. He shares that he found it on a cop who took his own life. He's seen a bunch of people choose to go out on their own terms instead of turning into zombies. Sung shares that he grabbed the gun and kept it close, just in case he needed to protect himself. He wasted it for no reason. Asks if there's any ammo left, but the guy tells him nope. The main character just thinks that kinda sucks. Oz pretty relieved that the zombies hanging around outside the warehouse basically keep random people from getting in. The protagonists on the same page, thinking it's actually kind of a win for them. Out of nowhere, Jin Song's stomach started rumbling. Sung looks over and wonders if he skipped lunch. A few minutes later, Sung starts making ramen for everyone. Both of them can't take their eyes off the food. Sung lets them know he's down to whip up more food if they're still hungry. Ah looks hyped as he lets everyone know he's got something up his sleeve. The main guy just stares, totally clueless about what's going on. Out of nowhere, she reaches into her bag and grabs 2 cans of beer. As they dig into the ramen, wonders if it's time to kick things off with a toast. They raise their beers, celebrating their new friends and the ramen in front of them. Once they finish eating and feel full, thinks about how it's been ages since he had a proper meal, and honestly, eating something warm right now just hits different. He's sitting there finally full, feeling the warmth in his body and knowing he's got somewhere to crash for the night. For once, he's not stressing about anything, just soaking in the peace. Meanwhile, the 3 of them are freezing, the cold won't let up, and's getting annoyed because it's dropping way faster than any of them thought. Ah starts thinking about whether the building even has heat, but Sung already knows the heaters are dead. Figures the power must gone out, and right after that, he notices the room getting colder. Hops on the community board and posts about the temperature hitting 35 degrees. Meanwhile, starts thinking if they could just burn something to warm up for a bit. Points out that their company isn't into electronics. Right after, Sung points out an old burner sitting in the warehouse and throws out the idea of using it to warm up the place. As soon as he says it, Ah and Jin Sung instantly perk up, clearly hyped about finally getting some heat. The main guy wants to know if there's any firewood around, but Sung already checked everywhere and came up empty. The main guy realizes they're almost out of firewood and mentions they'll need to find more soon. Sung brings up that their stash is already getting pretty low. Jin Sung throws out the idea of burning some old clothes, but Sung shuts that down fast since most of the clothes have plastic in them and it'd be dangerous. While those two keep tossing ideas back and forth, Ah just sits there, clearly spaced out and thinking hard about something else. Out of nowhere, she gets up and lets everyone know there's actually a forest sitting right behind the building. Sung and Jin Sung just look at her, both kind of stunned, trying to figure out if she really means what she said. Ah points out how the trees outside are probably dead from the freeze, so they'd work great for firewood. Sung's on board with the plan, saying they should grab some when it's not risky to head out. He says he'll grab the burner for now and is down with it right away. Not long after, the 2 guys start getting ready to grab the burner. While they walk, wonders if the first floor just has daily stuff, basically everything but food, and the second floor is where the clothes are. He's got it right, and he also points out that things like hygiene gear and one-time use products are on the first floor too. He realized he could finally go and brush his teeth. Sung keeps things moving, letting everyone know that the heavy stuff people use every day like laundry racks are up on the 3rd floor and all the kitchen gear is on the 4th. Jin Sung's pretty relieved, thinking they won't have to stress about finding pots, kettles, or kitchen knives anymore. Sung with him on that, but he reminds everyone that kitchen knives kind of suck for zombie fights, they're just too short. Then he mentions the 5th floor is where they store all the office stuff, like pencils, pens, stamps, and notebooks, but Jin Sung figures nobody's going to need that right now. At the end, Sung brings up that the basement's just a parking lot, right? Sung lets them know there's a bunch, and tells them they can choose some once they grab the burner. Was down for it, guessing there weren't a lot of shoes around anyway, just nodded along. He's been stacking up socks to make the shoes fit, but honestly wearing them like that just feels off, especially since the shoes are way too big. He says his regular shoe size is 270. grabs some winter boots, dropping 3 coins for them. Every time he buys something, it just pops up right where he wants it, no waiting, no hassle. Sung digs into his backpack and grabs his shoes, looking over at the main guy to see if something's up. The protagonist reaches in too, pulls out the boots, and hands them over to Sung. Sung just stood there totally confused, wondering how that could even happen. Just shrugged and explained he had a backup pair ready to go. Sung slips the shoes on and notices right away they fit just right. He's honestly thankful. The protagonist mentions how the place is actually warm and pretty chill. Sung nods, grateful all over again. The system pops up and lets him know he's got a new teammate. Now squad is up to 3 people. He figures out that whenever he gives someone a gift, the system just adds them straight to his party. They head down the hallway and come to a stop right in front of the burner. Sung notices there are a bunch of options, but says this one just works better if you're staying inside. The protagonist grabs the burner, wondering if it's time to head back. They head up the stairs. He thinks back to how Sung used to light up all the time and starts to wonder if passing a couple of smokes between them might actually help them get closer. Right as they're about to keep going, stops everyone and tells them to hold up. He tells Sung he's got something the building can't offer. Sung, not getting it, just looks out the window trying to figure out what's going on. His eyes suddenly go wide, reaches into his pocket and takes out a pack of cigarettes. Sung lights up with excitement, throwing his hands in the air because he hasn't touched a cigarette since everything went down. The main guy jumps in, saying the cigarettes were actually for the ramen he cooked up earlier. Drops 3 cigarettes into Sung's hand, catching him off guard with how many he gives. Just grins, letting everyone know they're basically a squad now. Sung puts his hand on his chest, honestly blown away by how thankful he is right now. Out of nowhere, he jumps in and hugs him tight, letting him know he's got real love for him and even calls him sir. Just laughs it off, telling him they should chill with all the formal talk and just keep it casual from here on out. Not long after, they show up in front of again, letting her know they're back and setting the burner down. The protagonist grabs 2 padded jackets and hands them over, calling them a bonus. Ah lights up and snatches them right away. He lets everyone know he packed face wash, some toothbrushes and toothpaste. Ah couldn't hold back and just went for a hug, totally catching him off guard, so he ended up dropping everything he was holding. She grabs them fast, clearly hyped to try them out immediately. Sung notices how happy she looks, and Jin Sung points out it's probably because it's been ages since they last cleaned anything up. For the next 3 days they got to work, turning Sung's spot into a makeshift kitchen and setting up their camp. He set up 3 mattresses and tossed some sleeping bags in the room next door. Putting solar panels on the roof was a no-go, too much risk with the snow and heavy winds trashing the windows, so they just set up all the panels they could on the 5th floor instead. At the same time, zombies were starting to show up more and spread around. Checks out the window and sees that barely any zombies are hanging around the building anymore. At the table, he notices things have finally calmed down. It's time to head out. He reminds everyone they should grab some weapons before anything else, bringing up that gun shop they noticed earlier. Ana puts her hand up, saying she's down to hang out, but she lets everyone know that going too far is going to be tough for her. Nods, realizing she's got a point. They're low on coins, so dodging zombies isn't really an option, especially with the weather being brutal. In his head, he can't help wishing they had a car. That way they could just cruise past all the zombies and looters without stressing. Somewhere else, the sound of a motorcycle echoed through the area. He ends up getting the attention of a bunch of zombies. Over in Dong, a kid on his bike was getting chased hard by the whole crowd. He grabs his bike and hauls it up the stairs, trying to get away as fast as he can. At first, he figures the rider's just trying to dip too. He suddenly catches on. They're actually guiding the zombies straight at everyone else on purpose. The boy grabs his phone and throws it up on the community feed right away. He let everyone know the rider was on the way to next and told people there to watch out. Once they got their base camp sorted, everyone decided who'd handle what job. Oz in the storeroom, keeping track of all the dishes, making sure nothing's missing. She's got the job of keeping everything in the storage area organized and on point. A second later, Sung steps in. Ah glances over to see if he needs anything. Sung's the guy everyone relies on for updates, fixing stuff and keeping all the gear working. He was supposed to check out the fixed solar generator that day. Just nodded, remembering it too. He explains that because it's been cloudy for days, the generator didn't get any power, so there's no way to even run the test. There's no new info popping up, so he asks if there's anything else he can do. While she's putting a box of dishes away, Ah brings up that she still needs to check what's left in the kitchen and asks him to help out. Sung says yes right away and jumps in to help her. Jin Song's out doing his usual patrol around the storage area, keeping an eye on things outside and thinking ahead about what they might need later. While he's on patrol, he heads into the storeroom. He walks in and spots Ah and Sung teaming up on something. He nods at them, kind of caught off guard to see them hanging out. Ah gives him a quick smile back. He starts thinking maybe Sung's there to help out. gives a quick nod, letting everyone know the weather's way too rough for him to keep working. He points out that the solar power's totally down right now. Honestly wasn't surprised, the weather outside had gotten way worse. It wasn't just cloudy anymore, the fog was so thick you could barely see anything past a few meters. Ah wonders if the batteries are totally dead. Sung says yeah, they're all drained and there's no way to charge them right now. Ah points out it's been a while since anyone checked outside. Jin Sung agrees and thinks they should talk about what to do next. Once their talk wraps up, the main guy starts getting ready to leave. He throws on his winter gear, tightens up his shoes, pulls his hood up, and sets up his bike. Sung and Ah hang out by the gate, clearly uneasy as they watch him. Jin Sung stands next to his bike, catches the look on their faces, and can't help but think it's weird they're stressing out when he's the one heading out. Whenever Ah sees him heading out by himself, she can't help but get anxious. Moves in, puts a steady hand on her shoulder, and lets her know that someone's gotta step up. If nobody took that risk and another crew rolled up on their spot while he was gone, they'd have no way to protect themselves. He gives the spear she built for him a quick tap, trying to show her he's got it handled. With this weapon in his grip, he wants her to know he's set and doesn't need anyone stressing over him. He tells her he's got it under control and won't do anything dumb. Ah just wants him to stay safe out there, and Sung says they'll handle everything back at base. As the main guy starts to walk out, he stops for a sec and glances over his shoulder. He lets them know he's got it covered. He'll come back with both the induction cooker and the gun. Anna had already tossed a rope in his bag so he could tie the cooker to his bike, and she even slipped in a note with backup options in case he couldn't track down the right stuff. Hops onto his bike, gives her a nod, and lets her know he'll be back soon. Anna tells him to look out for himself and make sure he knows to bail if things get risky, no hero stuff. She pulls open the warehouse gate, standing there as he heads out, his figure disappearing fast into the heavy fog. Riding his bike through snowy streets, the sound of metal chains grinding on the road kept him focused. He thought about his squad and realized he'd picked the right crew. They had his back, making sure everything was set before he took off. With chains on his tires and a small light they hooked him up with, getting around was way less of a hassle. Glancing around, he saw the place was totally dead. No people, no noise, not even a zombie in sight. The whole street was just straight up silent. He keeps telling himself not to chill just yet. Zombies could be waiting around the apartment complex. Since the school isn't far, he knows the apartments have to be close too. Out of nowhere, a sharp gust hits and flips his hood back. The wind's pushing hard against him, slowing him down, but he just keeps pedaling, not letting up. He suddenly notices a weird scent drifting by. He catches a whiff of exhaust, kind of like an old beater car. He scrunches his face, not getting why that smells around when there shouldn't be any cars running at all. He catches this deep rumble echoing from somewhere far off. He glances around, trying to track it down, but it just keeps getting louder. He spots it and suddenly gets it. It's a motorcycle. His heart pounds fast and he can't help but get nervous. If that sound actually belongs to a motorcycle, there's a good chance this thing is pulling in a whole crowd of zombies again, just like last time. He stares forward, heart pounding. The fog's so heavy he can barely make out what's in front of him. As the fog lets up a bit, his eyes go wide. He wasn't ready for what he just saw. He spots them right away. A massive crowd of zombies all locked onto the noise from the motorcycle, chasing after it like it's the only thing that matters. He suddenly notices it's the same dude who was running the zombies earlier. He freaks out, realizing he needs to get out of there fast. He slams his feet on the pedals, pushing the bike as hard as he can, knowing if they catch up, it's game over for him. The thick snow on the ground and the chains on his tires kept him from moving fast. His breath picks up, getting loud and quick. He glances over his shoulder and spots the zombies closing in on him. He mutters to himself, noticing they're closing in fast. He quickly looks around, trying to find anywhere to hide. The only spot he sees is that same school he was at earlier. He swings the bike around and starts pedaling hard straight for it, pushing himself like he's got something to prove. He pulls up to the school, hops off his bike, and gets ready to head in. He bolts for the door. He reached for the door but it wouldn't budge, locked. He starts freaking out and scrambles through the room, checking every window to see if any of them will open. He spots one and gives it a tug, trying to open it up. He started yelling when the thing wouldn't move, getting more and more annoyed. He leans in and throws everything he's got at it, hoping it finally gives way. At last, the window pops open. He tosses his backpack and spear in fast, not wasting any time. He grabs the edge and pulls himself up, making his way inside. He manages to slide one leg through, almost making it. Out of nowhere, a zombie latches onto his other leg. He's scared and glances over his shoulder. He looks up and spots the creature, snarling and dragging him in. He was straight up scared, swings his free leg and nails the zombie right in the chin. It twisted its neck until there was a loud crack. He keeps kicking and yelling, trying hard to get whatever's grabbing his leg to let go. But sometimes things just don't go that way. He snatches up his spear and smacks the zombie right in the face with the handle, just letting out all his frustration. At last, the creature lets go. The protagonist drops straight to the floor. He was totally wiped out. Right when the zombie starts pulling itself through, he bolts up and pulls the window down hard. The zombie's hand smacked the glass, missing his face completely. He realized that if he'd hesitated even for a second, he wouldn't be here right now. Drops down and just sits there, totally wiped out. Back at the base, Ah couldn't sit still. She kept tapping her foot on the floor while sorting stuff in the storeroom, looking pretty uneasy the whole time. Sung comes up behind her, trying to figure out if she's actually stressing about something. With the darkness outside pressing in, everything just felt way heavier to her. Sung tried to keep her calm, making sure she knew things would turn out okay. She gives a quick nod, but you can tell she's still not totally chill. Things went quiet for a second. Sung checks his phone and sees it's barely at 8%. He wonders if it's worth turning it on yet or if he should just wait a bit longer. He checks with R to make sure it's all good. Tells them that if they switch to power-saving mode, they'll get about 10 more minutes out of it. R realizes she hasn't checked in for a few days and wonders what updates she's missed. Sung jumps onto the community feed and instantly feels way lighter, like the whole room just got less gloomy. Online, someone starts talking about how zombies totally lose it when they smell blood. They were stuck at home with 4 people, but then 2 of them turned into zombies, so they ended up locking those 2 in a room. Things had been pretty calm until today. The second the zombies picked up on the blood, they just lost it. Someone else jumps in on the post, kind of roasting the original guy for not being up to date, and tells him to keep an eye on the latest updates. Ah already knows what's up and Sung just nods, not really surprised. He swipes down to check out the next post, barely missing a beat. As everyone else stays busy reading, the protagonist slips through the school hallways, moving quietly. He peeks into each classroom, scanning for any zombies or maybe someone still alive. Back at the base, Ah spotted something else in motion for Sung to check it out. Sung glanced over, curious about what she'd found this time. Things are getting out of hand with the zombies. They're getting worse than before. The wall crawlers showed up first, but now there are some huge ones out there. At school, walks into a different classroom and checks out the view from the window. He spots zombies crowding around the building and starts thinking it might be that motorcycle again, or maybe some biker gang rolled through and pulled in even more zombies. Scrolling through the feed, he spots some random user wondering just how massive the zombies are now. The message says they aren't even human anymore and some of them are huge, like over 2 meters tall. At the same time, the main guy catches sight of this massive zombie, way taller than all the others, its long hair moving around as it walks. He freezes up, heart racing, and mutters to himself, trying to figure out what kind of creature could do something like this. Down at the base, Ah reads out the post. It's talking about someone who's over 2 meters tall now. She can't help but wonder if that means their bones are actually changing. Sung doesn't really have an answer for her, he just knows things are going downhill fast. Before the battery runs out, he thinks they should check out one last post. They're just scrolling, checking out random posts, one about the same zombie horde, another dude joking about selling fridges during the Ice Age apocalypse, and someone flexing their haul from looting a local mart. Sung stops when he sees a post showing a massive zombie swarm. He explains that he's living in, and suddenly, a massive group of zombies just showed up out of nowhere. At first, they figured the zombies were after some guy riding his motorcycle. Turns out he was steering the group straight into busy areas just to take people out. The post wraps up with a heads up that the horde's moving toward next, telling everyone there to keep their guard up. Ah snatches the phone out of Sung's hand and leans in, scrolling back to check the post one more time. The screen just cuts out all of a sudden. The battery totally gives up and everything goes dark. She lets out a loud curse, totally frustrated, and points out that the post says the zombie horde is heading from Dong straight to that's exactly where went. She gives the phone back, then quickly heads out. Sung grabs her hand before she can leave, wanting to know what she's up to. Ah starts thinking about whether he checked out the post as well. She's worried that if the main guy keeps pushing forward, he's going to head straight into the crowd. They need to pull him back before things get messy. She remembers seeing that huge swarm before, back when she was hanging out with him. If Jin Sung crosses their path, he's basically done for. Sung just stands there totally stunned. Ah pulled her hand back and started walking straight for the door. Sung's face goes pale. He knows it's already past the point of no return. She's totally lost, trying to figure out what he's talking about. He freezes for a second, but she pushes him to just say it. He finally points out that the post went up at 4:20 a.m., so the horde probably already moved through Bangdong and could be coming straight for them now. Just looks at him, frozen and scared out of her mind. She gives a slow nod, showing she gets what's going on. Sung rests his hand on her arm, letting her know they've got to stay strong right now. They know if the horde takes over their shelter, it's game over. They've got to hold it down so the main guy still has a place to come back to. He points out that this is the reason ditch them. Ah realizes he's got a point and kind of admits she wasn't really thinking clearly. She's determined to stick around and protect their base. The two of them step out, getting ready for whatever's about to go down. While the hero's walking past the classrooms, he keeps looking inside each one. Suddenly, he catches some noise coming from the room next door. He freezes on the spot, instantly thinking it could be a zombie. He suddenly remembers every door is locked, except for the window he climbed through. He wonders if it's another person who made it, and figures they might be able to team up and watch each other's backs. He heads over to the next room and eases the door open, trying not to make a sound. He steps inside and spots the shadow of someone small. His chest gets tight for a second. He really thinks it might be a kid. He gets hit with sadness once he figures out the kid didn't make it to a shelter. He figures the kid probably lives close, so he calls out to get his attention. The soft light from the window lands on the kid's thin shirt and can't help but worry. No way anyone could last weeks out here in weather like this with barely anything on. The light finally catches the boy's face, showing off his pale skin, dead eyes, and a messed up look. He's straight up a zombie. The zombie kid charges straight at him, catching the protagonist off guard. He grips his spear tightly. He slams into the zombie, sending it crashing to the ground. A notification popped up on screen, letting him know he just snagged another coin. Now he's sitting at 3 coins in total. He looks down at the small body on the floor and sadness just hits him. He knows he can't change what happened, but he still quietly says sorry in his head, wishing things were different. Picked up 3 coins, then checked out every corner of the building, but there weren't any more zombies around. With his tactical flashlight and weapon ready, he pushed forward into the darkness, carrying almost everything he grabbed from the warehouse. He knows things are looking rough, but sticking around isn't going to help him at all. Stands by the window, staring at the crowd of zombies outside, just wishing they'd all be gone when he wakes up. Even though things could get sketchy, he came prepared with a sleeping bag and some backup snacks. Honestly, it's a smart move. He's got the jacket on and it's way colder than he thought it'd be. He can't help but think back to how she basically made him take it. Now, standing out in the cold, he's actually glad she did, and he laughs to himself about it. Curled up in the sleeping bag, his nose all red and his whole body shaking cause it's freezing. He's not even worried about himself right now. His mind's totally locked in on the warehouse. With those zombies moving toward, all he can do is hope nothing's gone down over there. Some time passed. Snaps awake out of nowhere because his stomach's making noise. He grabs a snack, munches on it while staring out the window. That's when he spots the building across from him and gets curious. He grabs his tactical flashlight and weapon, heads over, and slips inside to see what's up. Jin Song walked in and froze for a second. There were baseball bats everywhere. He started thinking these could actually come in clutch if something went down. It made him wonder if everyone bilayed so fast they just left all their stuff behind. At first he considers grabbing these too, but with all the gear he's already got, it's just not happening. So he just leaves them and moves on. Grabs one of the baseballs, thinking it might come in handy. Out of nowhere, this wild roaring sound blasts through the air. He spins around and checks the glass window, spotting a zombie stuck in the next room. He starts thinking about how that zombie even ended up there. Maybe someone got bit and tried to hide and just got caught. Either way, keeps it cool, walks up slow and takes the zombie out with one solid hit. Picked up another coin, so now he's sitting at 4 points. He glances around and spots a gas burner sitting there. At first, he thought it was just an induction cooktop. He notices a fridge and an oven, and honestly, he really wants to snag them. But there's just no way he could haul those around or break them down, so he just keeps moving. Knows he has to get back to the city center, no excuses. Now he's back on his bike, and honestly, it's a huge relief that the bike's still in one piece. By the time the sun finally gets up, it's already there. There are zombies all over this spot, so he keeps it slow and stays alert as he moves forward. Sometimes he ducked behind pillars or cars, just trying not to get spotted by those things that could end him on the spot. Checks out the tallest building around and decides that's his next move. Jin Sung walks into the building and spots blood all over the floor. The whole place was trashed, and that's when he put it together. Something wild must gone down here, like a serious fight broke out. He clips a few small chains around his bag, so it stays strapped to his back and doesn't slide off. He starts checking out the building, looking around to see what's up. After some time, makes it all the way up to the top floor. He spots apartment 2001 and goes for the door. As soon as it responds, Jin Song figures out that hitting the button would set off the alarms. He gets smart about it and grabs his gear, smashing it right up against the door. The door swings open fast. The place is trashed, like someone dipped out fast and didn't bother cleaning up. You could tell whoever left wasn't thinking straight, just grabbed their stuff and bounced. He's just chilling, taking a slow look around the place. The second he spots the induction cooktop, a big smile shows up on his face. You can tell he's genuinely hyped about it. Pulls the plug out of the switchboard. He drops it next to him, then notices a bed in the corner. It's been forever since he crashed on anything this soft, so he's quick to flop down, hoping to catch a break before he heads out. The second he sinks into the bed, he's basically out, totally relaxed. But just when things start looking up, trouble pulls up fast like it always does. Right then, a loud sound blasts through the air. His first thought, he's pretty sure it's a zombie pulling up. The noise just wouldn't stop, so he got up and checked out the window. What he saw made his eyes go wide. Zombies were actually climbing all over the building across from him. He started thinking maybe one of them fell and that's what made the noise, but honestly it was hard to tell what was really going on. Nobody could figure out why those zombies were climbing up the building. He watched them, totally confused, wondering what was even going on. Scans the room and catches someone just standing by the window, totally zoned out. Outside, the place is crawling with zombies all around the building. Feels guilty, but there's nothing he can actually do for that person. With the zombies all focused on climbing that building, he finally sees a shot to get out. He saw a chance and took it, even though he couldn't shake the guilt. Grabbing the induction cooktop, he headed out of the apartment. Right then, the guy in the window across the front just pulls out a gun and starts firing everywhere. Sees what's happening and starts freaking out, realizing that if this keeps going, every zombie within 300 meters is about to pull up. He freezes, eyes going wide, and sweat starts sliding down his face, just like he was worried about it's actually happening. Zombies keep closing in from every direction. At this point, he's totally surrounded with no way out. Can't believe it, someone's been blasting away for like an hour straight, and it's starting to mess with his head. He looks closer and sees this girl taking down zombies one after another with perfect aim. What really stands out is how she just handles herself every time the rifle acts up. She honestly comes off like she knows exactly what she's doing. Right now, the hero figures she's probably in the military. He checks her out through the glass window of the building, trying to read the situation. Could tell that over 100 zombies were already down for the count. If he and the other guy had teamed up from the start, every one of those kills would stack up as coins for them. Teaming up with her honestly doesn't sound too bad, since he knows she's got his back when it counts. He's got a gun ready to protect himself too, since it's pretty clear she came stacked with more than enough ammo and gear. He's just sitting there on the ground trying to chill for a bit. He knows he's stuck until the zombies move on, so for now he's got no choice but to wait it out. Right then, those loud shrieks kick off again. Checks it out and sees those deadly creatures are back, swarming everywhere. Even the gunfire isn't popping off anymore. He's got barely enough food to last one more day, and that hits him hard. He can't help but wish he dipped out way earlier before things got this bad. Right now he's stuck just waiting for the horde to break up. He tries to crash for the night, but it's already 1 a.m. and he just keeps tossing around, no sleep in sight. His mind drifts back to when he saw the swarm head for the logistics warehouse. Even with his brain running wild, he keeps telling himself to chill out and that he'll get through this. He's bored and just chilling, so he pulls up his system window to see what's up. He's pretty confident that once he gets inside the logistics warehouse, he'll find almost everything he's looking for. There's even a chance he might stumble on something rare or unexpected. He spots the mystery box sitting untouched in his system and can't help but wonder what's inside. He really wants to open it, but it needs 10 coins, and he doesn't have enough yet. He keeps the tab open, because if he closes it now, he won't know if grabbing more later is even worth it. All these thoughts run through his head as he stares at the screen. Suddenly, a huge blast goes off nearby, shaking everything around. Freaks out and bolts straight for the window, his heart racing. He starts thinking maybe the explosion was those guys who wrecked the subway to mess up the tracks. You can see panic all over his face. He spots the zombies heading south and instantly gets that the noise was coming from that direction. Figuring this is his shot, he grabs the induction cooktop and finally gets it onto the bike. He moves out of the apartment super carefully, but it's way trickier than it sounds since there are still a bunch of zombies hanging around right outside the building. Cracks open the door on the ground floor, trying to figure out his next move. The thought of taking them out pops into his head. Right then he spots the woman with the gun slipping out of the front building, clearly trying to bounce just like he is. While he's hanging back, he catches her moving quick, almost like she's heading his way. Everything she does is sharp and clean, no extra moves, just straight to the point. The guy's totally thrown off. He starts wondering if she's like some undercover special ops or something. At last, the girl pulled up right in front of him, gun pointed straight at our guy. He doesn't get what's going on, so he grabs his weapon and gets ready too. The girl makes it clear she's not here to hurt anyone, but she still keeps her gun up, which honestly makes zero sense. She jumps straight to the point, wanting to know if he's rolling solo or if he's got backup somewhere. Drops his weapon to show he's not looking for trouble and lets her know it's just him out here, not trying to start anything. When she hears that, she lowers her gun. She couldn't hide her smile. Finally spotting another person after all that time alone had her feeling pretty relieved. So after all that, they finally swap names for real. The girl with the gun, her name's Park C. Now that they've done the whole handshake thing, it's official. They actually know who each other is. C lets him know there's a whole crowd of zombies outside, but barely any hanging around inside the building. They figured it was time to go inside and chill for a bit. The shooter girl sat on the stairs, eyeing him and wondering if he was living in this place by himself. He knows she's tough and can really handle herself in a fight, so trusting her right away doesn't feel smart. For now, he just plays it safe and says he lives alone. He turns to her and throws the same question her way. C took a second before letting it out. She used to have a few friends who left the military with her, but none of them made it. She goes on, letting them know their crew was set up just outside Bang Dong. That wave just hit and that's why she got left on her own. She tried to dip, but now she's stuck here. Here's what she says and starts thinking, kind of confused about why she calls the zombies a wave. He catches on that she's pointing fingers at someone for messing up her plans and leaving her stuck in this situation. C doesn't really get into it though, and just checks if the guy has any place he's heading to. Pauses for a second, then owns up he's about to get hit with a gunshot. In situations like this, packing some heat is just how you stay safe. C totally backs Jin Song and wants to know if he's got any shooting skills. The hero lets her know he really means it. She unzips her bag and pulls out a rifle, showing it to him. After all the chaos with the zombie horde, he finally gets his hands on the gun he's been waiting for. He really appreciates her for hooking him up with it, even though she kind of wanted to help him out with more, gets it. Pushing things any further could backfire, and honestly what he has now is already plenty. C looks at her and brings it up again, wanting to know what his next move is, and where he's planning to head off to. He laughed under his breath, trying to play it cool even though he was clearly on edge. The protagonist lets her know he's gonna scout out a new spot to crash for a while. He needs somewhere safe. Is moving real careful these days. He doesn't trust her and definitely isn't about to drop the location of their base. He totally freezes up when the girl with the gun suddenly asks him to come with her. He just thinks it's way safer having someone with him than rolling solo. Can't figure it out, there's nothing in it for her, so why is she asking him to stick around? He starts thinking maybe she just doesn't want to go through this solo. So our guy figures this is his shot to see if this girl's actually got his back, so he's down to roll with her. Knows, though, if C's bringing her skills and gear to the squad, their base is about to get way more secure. Jin-song hung back, pushing his bike as he walked along. C walked ahead, keeping her gun ready. They took out every zombie that showed up, making sure nothing got in their way. Watches her closely and starts to realize something. If she was ever on the other side, things would get scary fast. Even when she's up against those dangerous monsters, she stays sharp and never loses her cool. They keep moving ahead, and before they even realize it, they end up in. Figuring it's a good spot, they decide to chill for a bit and catch their breath. At a nearby cafe, they spot some cans of sweets and lights up. He's clearly loving it. After chilling for a while and catching their breath, they figured it was time to get moving again. While they're getting ready to leave, the shooter girl lets him know they'll look for supplies later in the day. Totally down with that. Right now, grabbing some food is the top priority. As soon as they get going again, a silenced shot comes out of nowhere, aimed right at them. The bullet whizzes so close to his face that he feels the air brush past, heart pounding. When C sees what's happening, he ducks behind a car without thinking and starts firing too. Trails after her, trying to figure out who these people even are, and if they've got beef with the girl who fired the gun. Really wants answers from C now. He looks at her, trying to figure out if she recognizes these people or if there's something she's not telling him. She ignores him and just keeps aiming at her target, locked in on her shot. Gets thrown off when he hears these guys talking to her in English, even swearing at them in the same language. That's when it hits him they're not from around here. The soldiers start pressing the shooter girl, warning her to give up or she's done for. Honestly couldn't care less right now. His nerves were shot from all the non-stop gunfire. He steps in to block her, knowing that if nobody chills out, the zombies are gonna rush them all. She looks over at Jin-song and lets everyone know she's not giving up. Those dudes are the same ones who hurt her, and that's exactly why she bailayed in the first place. Hiro hears it and his eyes go wide. He didn't see that coming at all. He starts thinking hard, not sure if he can actually believe her. The shooter girl fires back, wondering why anyone would make something up right now. He's still trying to figure out what's going on. Z steps up and shoves him forward. He grabs him, putting him in front to block any danger while making his escape. Totally out of options and freaking out, just gives up and yells that he surrenders. Even with everything going wild, the soldiers somehow still landed a shot and hit the girl in the shoulder. Some soldiers bolt straight for the girl with the gun, not wasting a second. One of the soldiers steps up to the guy and checks if he actually knows English. Lets him know he gets it. Wants to know if he's the guy hanging out with Kelly, as soon as he hears Kelly's name. Gets thrown off when the girl straight up says she's C. Even after hearing it, he's still trying to process what just happened. The soldiers looked at each other and couldn't help but smirk when they realized this girl even faked her name. The main guy cleared things up, saying he wasn't actually friends with Kelly. They'd only just crossed paths a few hours earlier and ended up traveling together. The soldiers, wanting to know more, pressed for details. So the guy shared what she told him. She claimed she used to be a U.S. soldier and had to run away because she said those guys assaulted her. When and the other soldier hear the news, they're caught off guard. They realize she's the same woman who turned on them and got busted stealing their food stash. While she was running away, she ended up shooting 6 of their guys. 2 got hurt and 1 didn't make it. That's the whole reason they're after her now. Right now, stuck, not sure who's got his back. The soldiers lost track of her, and now the gunshots are pulling in a bunch of zombies, so chasing her down just got way harder. Zombies are everywhere, way too many to count, and Johnson are doing their best to keep them back, but it's not working out. They know they can't hold out much longer, so it's time to dip before things get worse. With everything going wild, the soldiers figure they might as well trust for now. To get out of there, they grab his stuff. They can't figure out why one bag feels like it's packed with bricks and the other is light and squishy. He gets worried, thinking if things keep going like this, they're probably going to snatch his stuff next. Isn't backing down about his bag. He's holding on tight because he knows it's his. The soldiers' faces turned serious when one of them brought up whether the gun in his bag was actually taken from their squad. Just freezes up, totally silent. He's way too scared to even think about asking for the gun again. He just wants him to return the bag. Deep down, he already knows they're not actually going to go through with it. just strolls over and gives him his bag back, catching him off guard. He hoped the guy wouldn't end up doing something dumb with it. The soldiers head out, all thinking maybe they'll run into each other again if things go their way and they make it through. After grabbing his stuff, he's set to bounce and head home. It's already gotten dark and's been pedaling for what feels like forever. His legs are seriously tired now, almost like he just took a hit out of nowhere. Couldn't do anything else, so he just left his bike right there on the street. He keeps moving by himself since there's still a long road ahead. With all his stuff packed up, he just keeps going. He remembered spotting it on the map earlier, and figured he was only like 1.5 kilometers out from the warehouse now. Just to be safe though, he grabbed a deodorizer and used it. He pops open the shop window and spots 16 coins sitting there. He's completely stunned. While the zombies were on the move, it was actually Kelly who wiped them all out. This whole thing is just confusing. If they really were at some party, his phone would blown up with a notification by now. He glances over at his crew, noticing Sung and Han-Ah hanging out with him. Right then he clocks that the coins came from the warehouse fights. His eyes go wide. He definitely wasn't expecting that. He thinks back to when they first spotted a zombie horde moving straight for. If those zombies broke past the defenses and there's a battle going down to keep the base safe, it's clear his friends are in serious trouble right now. As soon as it clicks for him, takes off sprinting, not wasting a second. He looks straight up, stressed, hoping he's not running late. Down at the base, R and the deputy are having a tough time holding back the zombies, trying hard to stop them from busting through. Even with the gate locked up, there are just way too many zombies outside, and it's got them pretty freaked out. They grabbed their weapons and got ready, posted up by the stairs. If anything broke through, they were set to block it right there, since regular zombies couldn't even make it up the steps. Four Eyes gets nervous since the zombies can't make it up the stairs using the cab handle. Can't deny it either, she knows he's right. Right now, it's basically a grind just to survive. If R and the deputy keep the zombies blocked in this tight space, they'll probably have a better shot at making it. Ah sees what's up and tells the deputy to get his weapon ready, since they're gonna have to make a stand right here. Four Eyes holds back a bit, not totally sure, and points out she could still just dip if things get too wild. Ah still goes for it and grabs the deputy's arm. He remembers that he promised to watch the place until the assistant manager shows up. The deputy made it clear he wasn't about to ditch. For now, surviving was the main thing on his mind, figuring out the rest could wait. Even with everything going on, she's not backing down. She's set on sticking it out here no matter what comes her way. She tells him to follow her lead and makes it clear that running isn't even an option. She lets him know it's way easier to hold on to something than to try and get it back after losing it. Hearing what she said, the deputy felt guilty and just couldn't walk away. He stayed put. As soon as they start moving, someone's voice comes from outside. Sienna gets curious and bolts straight for the balcony to check it out. He spots a dude riding a big bike, and something about him feels super familiar. She doesn't get a chance to stop and think about it. Assistant manager started yelling at her, letting her know the front gate was busted. Zombies are breaking in, and it's only a matter of seconds before they show up. Luckily, the doors on the first floor are made of tough glass, so they're not breaking anytime soon. This actually works out for them. At this point, they're ready to take down anyone who manages to get past. As soon as the zombies pulled up close to them, Ah and the deputy jump right into the fight, dropping every dangerous creature that tries to mess with them. Sprinting hard right now, just really hoping nothing bad happened. He tried to chill out, telling himself the zombies probably didn't get in since they were always lurking outside but never actually made it past the doors. He gets to the base and just freezes when he sees the main gate wide open and blood everywhere on the ground. His face goes pale. This was way worse than anything he expected. He didn't really get what was happening, and honestly, he was pretty freaked out. He walks around, checking everywhere, and ends up spotting a bunch of dead zombies piled up in that glass-reinforced room on the first floor. Has no clue where his teammates disappeared to, so he starts looking all over the place. When he stumbles on their stuff, it clicks for him. They didn't just dip and bail on him. Sweat dripped down his face while he yelled their names as loud as he could. He doesn't get an answer, and his face just straight up goes dark, like something out of a nightmare. Right then, he realized they were gone. He checked all the spots and didn't see any zombies getting inside. But then his heart started racing when he noticed a body on the ground that looked a lot like Assistant. Hyped himself up trying to check out the body, but right before he could even get a look, everyone in the room suddenly hears his name, and it's actually Ah and standing right there. Ah spots him and just sprints over, wrapping him up in a big happy hug. He's finally back with the people he actually cares about, and you can tell it means a lot. Later on, while chilling with some tea, Ah let him know the door was made out of some tough, reinforced glass, basically unbreakable. That's when she started thinking about creating a gap to get through. Using the chains, they pull the door partway shut. They started hitting the zombies through the opening, so holding them off got way easier. Oz starts teasing, bringing up the time when manager dropped his legendary advice about pulling the door, not pushing, while they were out there dealing with zombies. can't help but get embarrassed while just laughs it off. After a while, so many bodies stacked up that the combines couldn't even push forward. Eventually, they just stared at the door and decided to wait it out. After a while, the zombies just vanished again. The main guy starts thinking about where all the zombies disappeared to. Ah lets him know the iron door at the front got busted, so she and headed over to Site 2 looking for metal scraps to patch it up. Listens to everything and just feels proud of both of them for putting in so much effort. He walks in with a huge smile, showing off the stuff he just picked up like he's proud of his haul. He even grabbed the induction cooker. When sees what they've found, he lights up since now they can actually make a generator. Not missing his chance to flex, he casually drops how tough it was hauling all that stuff around. Notices how thoughtful he is and gives him props for it. Gets everyone's attention and says he's got one final thing to show. He hypes it up like it's something big, and everyone's eyes are glued to the bag, just waiting to see what he pulls out next. As soon as pulls out the gun, and can't help but get hyped, because they just hit the jackpot for real. The manager just stared, not believing what he was seeing, and wanted to know if seriously hit up a gun shop for it. When shook his head, the manager needed answers on where he actually got it. He just lays it all out for them, not holding back about what went down. As he stacked up the wood to get dinner ready, kept thinking the guy probably freaked out earlier, but he was just stuck wondering why everyone suddenly cared so much about making dinner tonight. The second he finds out they're actually having chicken, his face totally lights up. Lets everyone know they scored a solid haul of food while grabbing scrap at Site 2, so they're about to throw down and have a little party tonight. It's been close to 2 hours at this point. The roasted chicken smells so good that everyone's mouths start to water without even thinking about it. They'd been waiting forever, so when the chicken was finally ready, all three of them just dug in. That just wipes out all the stress in their heads for now. Everyone's just chilling after eating, realizing this is one of those rare moments to actually kick back. No work, no tasks, nothing stressing them out, just focusing on getting through and enjoying the break while it lasts. If he got the chance, he'd drop everything and jump right back into his old life without thinking twice. Right now, just really wants a beer. He knows it would make the night way better. When heard that, he casually threw out the idea of hitting up a supermarket or even a beer factory next time. He still remembered how good the beer was last time, so he figured it'd be worth checking out again. Right then, brings up the dude on the motorcycle and lets him know that actually saw the guy's face. Right when he hears it, the hero looks over at wanting to know if what he just heard is actually true. She finally lets it slip that it's actually someone they both know. Just stands there totally caught off guard, his mouth hanging open. Gets him thinking back to that internship, the one where everyone was talking about people getting in just because they knew someone. They were supposed to have 15 interns, but somehow 16 showed up. Back then, word was going around that one of the dudes just got the job because of connections and ended up dipping out halfway. Keeps forgetting the guy's name. Most likely that was Park Min-tae, the dude whose dad runs their company. Just freezes when he hears it. He seriously can't wrap his head around the idea that the guy riding up front with a bunch of zombies is actually from their own company. He's not totally convinced it's Park Min-tae. Turns out that dude actually has a twin brother. Park Min-tae actually has a twin who looks just like him.